A crossover is
crossover dribble.
crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time. Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul. The crossover continues to evolve.
Crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. Connor Happer show.
Yeah.
Day number 2. Hey, so, and I'm not, Austin, I'm not throwing you under the bus on this one, but
Good start. Thank you.
What did he say?
What did I do?
Yeah. What did he say while I was did he say anything?
I'm
He
an
hosted many
actual
4-hour
Panthers fan.
radio
I hope.
shows.
Oh, he
like
is?
controversial?
Yes. Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Did he do anything to get anybody in trouble?
Oh, Josh would probably be the better guy to answer
Many
that.
said he had the worst food takes of anyone who's ever hosted.
That
a
is
show.
What was
true.
your food
Yeah.
take? I'm trying to
Interesting.
remember because
Well, I
I
said
feel
cheese
like
pizza's the top pizza.
Oh, yeah, that was
one.
the that was the one
that
for
is
me.
bad. That's a bad food.
I'd
No,
like
it's
to.
not.
I'd like to hear more about that.
But that's
Okay.
don't like your
that's
toppings?
not your opinion. Your opinion is not that cheese pizza is the best pizza. It is your opinion is that it is the baseline to compare
Yes,
pizzas.
right.
okay,
Yeah.
that's exactly my take. What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but the way he worded it initially was very
I mean, I still like a cheese pizza. Don't get me wrong.
very
That's what I
shocking,
go
very
with.
clickbaity.
But if I were
Sorry.
to say garnish it with some beef or maybe pepperoni, does that
Sausage.
I'll
up
say
the
this.
level? Maybe some sausage.
Put it like this: if someone is like, "Hey, we're ordering pizzas. What do you want?" I say a cheese pizza.
Oh, I don't.
Oh,
Well, because
But, like,
I
if
know
you're
what I'm
or-
going to get out of a cheese pizza.
Wait, where are you ordering the pizza from? Like,
Well, see, and that's the thing. I don't know
The
where
other
it's coming
part.
from. I'm just saying, like, generically, if I don't know where it's coming from, I'm just going to say a cheese pizza because I can handle all of that.
see, but I'm not trying to grade like Little Caesars. Like I already know what
That's
I'm getting
fair.
there.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
fair.
if it's Little Caesars, like throw everything you can on there.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because I already know.
if
about
you
that.
did that, say Austin, I was having you over to watch a ball game, and I said, "I'm gonna get some pizzas. What do you like?" And you said, "I like a cheese pizza." I would follow that up with, "And then." And
I mean,
then-
sure, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Listen, but that's the other thing is that I'm doing a service to everybody else because I know everyone else will eat a slice of cheese pizza. If I order a
I mean, I'm not
crazy
going
pizza,
to.
and I'm not saying like people are just gonna, I'll eat a pepperoni. I'll eat all the pizza. I'm fine with that. I'm good. Like Michael Jordan, I'll eat the pizza. I'm good.
I ate the pizza.
I ate the pizza.
I feel like you're. I feel
Nobody
like,
else ate
you're
the
not
pizza.
living in the pizza world. I feel
That's
like you need to
fine.
live a
That's
little
fine.
when it comes to
You're
pizza.
probably
selection.
right. But listen, I've been burned by too many pepperoni pizzas that I just don't.
Literally, like physically.
Yes.
Like burn the roof of your mouth.
I've been injured, and also there are some pepperoni pizzas out there that pepperoni's not great. There, you gotta find a right style of pepperoni that suits you.
I like what you're doing with this. I think you should.
Of course you do.
I think you should keep going.
Of course you
I
do.
think you should keep going. This is good.
Well, I wasn't going to the thing I wasn't going to throw Austin under the bus is when you came in, he asked how's fatherhood. Is this now becoming, because Austin hadn't seen yet?
Are you tired of that question?
Yeah, is this becoming like when you first get married and be like, how's marriage life?
And you're
Yeah.
like, yes,
They're
I
like
know
it's the same.
So somebody in the office asked me this morning, how's being a girl dad?
Oh,
I was like,
okay, all right, I like that one.
I don't know.
Just changing it up a little bit.
I have a blob.
Yeah, you
you haven't thought about.
yeah, she's
prom
not
or
doing
like anything
girl
like that.
things
Yeah.
yet.
No, I am the father of a blob.
Yeah, that probably cries, poops, pees, and sleeps.
She makes some noises. She
Oh,
kind of
okay.
goes.
Yeah, and
she-
Have you
yeah,
started
yeah.
looking at baby boys with disdain yet? Like, stay away from my daughter.
Listen,
Interesting. No, I haven't.
You gotta
yet.
stay away.
So this was a great little you get to look forward to being a girl dad, hanging out with one of our mutual friends who has a daughter on Saturday. They were at the pool, and his
Oh, not the
4-year-old,
pool.
yeah, his 4-year-old daughter says to my 3-year-old son, "Can I come over to your house and see your bed?"
Whoa!
And he looks
Hell
at me and
yeah.
goes, "Something every father wants to hear his daughter say." I'm like, yep, it's starting early. I'd start monitoring that one. She's being a little aggressive with my son.
What's going on?
Did you
with
have to
kids?
follow up with the conversation as to like why?
No, I just let it happen.
Nice.
I just figured, hey, you know what? They're responsible enough.
So one
Way to be
day,
a cool dad.
my
Sometimes you got to learn your own lessons.
my 5-year-old walks into the office of the head of the daycare
Mhm.
and proudly proclaims, he's kind of a shy kid, but
Yeah.
he opens up. "I'm going to marry your daughter."
He just came in and
Yeah. Like, hey,
That's awesome.
I do declare.
Just to let you know this is
Wow.
happening.
He was asking for permission, or he was more.
or he was
stating-
telling-
no, that
I
sounded
think
like he was
he was telling.
he was making a statement.
He was
So
telling.
if like down the line this works out, he doesn't need to do it again. He's already done it.
Yeah, it's like,
I
well,
believe that covers his bases.
Yeah.
you might
should be
have to
good.
remind him that you had this conversation when he was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
But-
he was just running it through corporate, so he doesn't get.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
Declaring the relationship
Yes.
to
Yeah.
corporate.
Do I need to fill out one of those forms?
Yep, he's got to sign a waiver.
That's probably what he was doing.
Yeah, it's the relationship.
That kids watch
format.
TV.
Yeah.
That is a thing in
Yeah,
every
I love it.
TV show. Every TV show that's ever
that
happened.
forms.
There's always an interoffice relationship that is not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And they have to go through HR or avoid the HR guy.
There's not usually that many single people in an office.
You know what? Actually,
like,
Connor,
start
you're
a
right
relationship.
because in The Office, the TV show,
Yes, that
They-
happened many times.
they do that, and of course, I mean, we wouldn't have Jim and Pam if
Right.
they didn't allow it. But I don't know what your guys' work background is. If you ever tried to or dated, try to stay under the radar, dated someone that you worked with. But did it ever cross your mind of, you know what, maybe I should just check with HR first before I even take a step forward? No,
'cause,
you never did.
Yeah,
Never
it was
would.
just part-time jobs. I mean,
Well,
that
that's
was about
true,
it.
too.
But you don't really think of HR in your part-time job.
No,
So,
yeah, that's true. But even if
Yeah.
you were full time, you're ever like, gosh, yeah, we went out for a drink last night. I wonder if I should talk to HR first before this thing goes any further.
yeah.
No, I
I'm
don't think
about
that
to-
crossed my mind.
I'm about to shock everyone who eats at restaurants.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They're all having sex with each other.
Is it like the movie Waiting?
That walk-in cooler is disgusting. I don't care what grade the health board has given them. People have made out or more in that walk-in cooler.
Nice.
Every walk-in cooler.
The
Have the
walk-in
meats, I
It would
cooler.
be so cold.
I know.
It'd be very uncomfortable.
It's the only private spot back there.
Yeah, I suppose.
What if
but-
somebody walks into the walk-in
Jeez.
cooler?
Yeah, they're like, well,
Better put on a show.
We got an email from John
Hi, John.
about
Hey, John.
Austin's takes.
Oh god.
Austin's cheese pizza take is bad. I will
Thank you.
not eat a slice of plain cheese pizza.
Womp womp.
But none of his takes are as bad as many of Jimmy Allen's takes.
Why's he got to catch strays at this early? I mean, it's only 10:10.
Hey, you
I don't
know,
know.
on that,
He's
on
got
that
like 8
note,
hours
too,
before he's on the air.
Happer, I don't know if you saw, but via Reddit, I was voted the number 2 Connor Happer co-show host.
Really?
Yeah.
There was a Reddit thread?
There was.
Yeah, apparently-
I got sent it from Caleb Henry. We couldn't track it down.
Did we ever find
where
out
it
who
was.
number 1 was?
No.
I'm
Which-
assuming it's Jack Mitchell.
I
Which-
even reached out to Caleb. I said, I need this thread or
and he
whatever.
just lost it. Or
He's
what did-
like,
Subreddit was it on?
He's like, oh, it was a Discord thing. And then
and then
it
did it
was
give you any
on-
more info?
he simultaneously told me, I don't know what you're talking about, and it wasn't a Reddit thing, it was a Discord thing.
Maybe he just
Oh,
made it to
okay.
make me feel good. Maybe
Then-
I've just been telling.
But Reddit
people,
sounds so much better.
Mhm.
It was almost certainly on. Jack and Josh have that little that they have a little Discord. Family that
Mm.
they have over
Okay,
there. I
yeah.
almost for sure.
Yeah,
I'll-
okay.
with their
I'll-
softball
I,
team.
I have access to that. I can find that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
because I was curious.
I'm excited for you, but I want to know who they say you're not better than.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
want to know who number 1 is.
well, if it was a Jack and Josh
yeah, then it's
Had to
probably
have been.
Jack.
show, I would think Jack would
It
rate
probably-
very highly
it
among
probably
that
Jack.
Right,
listenership.
yes. That's what I assumed. I assumed
I'd
I was
hope
behind
so.
Jack, which I was totally comfortable
Sure.
with. I mean, I did not get COVID, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
And you weren't lobbying. You weren't lobbying for. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
you were
I
you were
came
in person. Yeah,
every
you did.
time.
You
You
were.
know,
Interesting.
Yeah.
You didn't
just,
you didn't two
just
stripe
putting
it.
out. I
Oth-
feel
others
like I'm
didn't.
like Paul Pierce making my case for the Hall of Fame right now.
Touche.
Like if I were to do the top 5 in the league, I'd put myself first.
Did you poop your pants during a show?
You know what? Okay,
That
so
was never confirmed.
yeah, where are we on that? At one point, he did insinuate that's what happened. Then what is it? Last year or 2 years ago that he
tried to back
vehemently
off.
did. Yeah, he
I
like
thought it was
vehemently
the opposite.
denied
I
it.
thought he like confirmed it a year ago, but always said that like it wasn't what happened.
I thought he got pissed off about it 2 years ago.
I believe we all laughed at him, which he did not think would be the reaction. Which
yeah.
why would you not think
I
that
mean,
that's
come
what
on.
the reaction would be? And then has tried to. No, that's not exactly what I meant, guys. Like I was also injured.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys about well, it's not a similar story, but it's
Oh.
it deals in the same neighborhood. Should I feel bad about what happened to Gosder Cherlius, the Colts
Oh, that was interesting.
offensive lineman
Yeah.
who urinated on an elderly woman on an airplane?
What is with
Yeah.
being on airplanes? That's like a new trend.
Yeah.
It's like the second time
Wait,
this year. we've
no,
had that.
you should not feel bad for the player.
Well, apparently he was on a medication that Well, at least that's what he's claiming.
Is that what he's claiming?
He's claiming he was on a medication that made him go sideways because Mary got drunk and disorderly and got in a fight with a guy too.
Yeah.
So urinating on the elderly woman wasn't enough.
Was he drinking on the medication?
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was. He had drank alcohol while on medication.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that's a you problem then, right? Like
okay, I just wanted to make sure because I thought it was. There was a line and he stepped way over it.
Yes.
But then he pulled the whole medication thing. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, do I need to be careful?
So he did what?
They were in a delay, I believe, on a plane.
Yes.
And he he urinated on the elderly woman that was next to him.
Well, and to be fair, flight attendants are notorious on delays. When you're sitting on the tarmac, they will not let you get up.
That is
to
true.
the bathroom.
Right. Yeah, that is
So
true.
That is fair.
Yeah.
But also,
but then getting in a fight with somebody too.
So at that point, you just pee your pants, right?
Is there
Like,
anything
you really have to go?
Is there can we be more specific about peeing on? What is that?
Well,
what does that look
I
like?
don't think he actually. The story I read, I don't believe he actually exposed himself and then like took aim.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
Great
think it was
descriptor.
more of he kind of soiled himself, but
There was
made
some splashback.
Oh.
made some attempts to direct it.
If
in
that's the case, then yes, I do feel bad for him because
Yeah.
he tried everything in his power to not make a situation out of it, and then it just became a situation.
Okay, this doesn't sound that bad.
It was a sticky situation, is what it was.
Cops say he was unruly while on the plane, and
Yeah.
when officers arrived at Logan around 2 a.m. and demanded he get off the plane after it landed, they say he became irate and uncooperative.
Well, yeah, if I just peed my pants on an airplane, I would also be a bit uncooperative.
But I'd also want to get off of the airplane.
The quicker you can get me off that airplane in that situation, the
There's
better.
very few situations in which I'd be uncooperative.
Yeah.
With
I
anything.
mean,
who is the?
I love to cooperate.
well, especially if I'm uncooperative on an airplane, I know I get on a list,
Was it?
and I don't want to be on that list.
Was it Odell a couple years
Yeah,
ago
yeah.
that like made the whole plane get off?
Well,
was it Odell? It was another
Odell
receiver.
passed out. Okay, remember he was bragging about his life hack of pouring alcohol in 5-hour energy drink bottles and then slugging them on the plane, and then he ended up passing out on an airplane. They couldn't wake him up. And I don't know if he caused a big scene though.
Well, he made everyone deplane, if I remember right, because like they couldn't, they woke him up and then he like refused to get up.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah.
That
I might be mixing
sounds
two
right.
stories up. But
No,
I'm pretty
maybe
sure that's
maybe
what it
those
was.
are two separate Odell Beckham Jr. cases. Because I know it was on like Instagram or something that he was posing his little life hack of putting alcohol in 5-hour energy
Beckham
bottles.
told the crew he was recovering from a night at a club, but there were concerns because he was undressing to his underwear, and crew were not happy.
Oh, I don't remember
with
that
the flight
part.
taking off with him on board.
He thought he was home. he thought he was just at home.
He was in
Oh, he did
underwear.
a Chad Kelly. Where he just,
I
he was
didn't-
like,
okay,
I'm finally back.
I did not recall the fact that he got down to his underwear.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part
See,
of it.
that's bad.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Once you start removing clothes,
One too many 5-hour energy.
Apparently, there's a cheese board involved as well.
Oh, wait, what?
Trying
That's
to get to
charcuterie?
that. Yeah.
Wow. First class is first class these days.
We're
You got
going to
charcuterie
control
boards?
F cheese.
There was a
The
cheese-
mood on the plane deteriorated after passengers were told they would have to deboard, and there were a number of comments aimed at Beckham as people gathered their luggage. While Beckham was reasonably unresponsive with officers and flight crew, he suddenly became animated with his fellow passengers. He yelled, "Shut the bleep up," at one man who was seated behind him, who urged him to just get off the plane. Beckham then focused on another passenger who received much of his wrath and the now infamous cheese board comment. The star said, "You can look at me all you want. This bleep don't bother me. I would never ever in my life get off the plane for you, specifically you. Maybe for everyone else, I would get off the plane.
it became very personal.
You're going to wait
Wow.
40 minutes and I'm going to be on a private plane home with your fat bleep. Get your bleep off the plane. Enjoy the cheese board on the way home with your ugly bleep."
He did. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Just digging in there.
That's nice.
It's also a great way to just
A cheese
really let
board.
people know how you feel.
Enjoy your cheese board.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was an insult.
You think they got a cheese board?
I don't think so.
Probably sounded good.
A cheese board, like I think of a charcuterie board.
Mhm.
And I feel like people who divulge into charcuterie boards are fine people.
Well, people
not
who
really
order
indicative of the
cheese
type of
boards
person
on
they
a
are.
plane, that's a mistake.
I love that. That's the play at a restaurant.
A cheese board?
Charcuterie board, cheese board
Charcuterie board?
for the apps. Yeah.
Yeah, it is good.
Respect.
I always feel bad, though, when no one else is eating it, and I'm just...
Yeah, I
devouring the
always
whole
eat
thing.
too much cheese.
Yeah. I remember at Josh Peterson's, didn't we take one of the entire charcuterie boards to our table?
Yeah, we commandeered a whole cheese
because
board.
nobody was
Respect.
eating it. We're like, well, all right, well, someone's got to.
There was
Yeah,
a
that's-
bunch of cheese.
That's always the weird part about like some weddings. Like sometimes they tuck away some of like the snack food or like the dessert or whatever, like into a corner. And if you're the table that sees that no one's touching it, you feel obligated to eat all.
Well,
of
not
it.
even obligated. It's like I want to have more of it, but I want to be very courteous to all the other guests. But then I feel like people handle the whole cheese board with kids' gloves. They're like, oh, I can't take too much because it's got to go around for everybody. Then no one's eating because I think it has a shelf life.
Screw y'all. I'm trying
After
to
a
get
half
full.
hour, if that thing has
Yeah.
not been touched at all,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going all in. I'll take a big
though-
old spatula and just start scooping crap onto my plate.
Alternatively, at funerals when it's like the walking line of like
Ooh.
deli meats,
Oh yeah.
if the first row of people get there, it's over. You don't get any sandwich. There's
Well,
nothing left for you.
People are
And you don't say anything about it.
No,
No, you can't because you're at a
Funeral.
funeral.
You can't-
Yeah,
you can't
you just get
complain
the.
at a funeral.
I've
you just
recently-
say they're going through a tough time.
At the weddings, I've recently gotten into the late night coffee, the after
Ooh.
dinner and after
Oh,
dancing
interesting.
coffee, to the point where
You're like my dad.
at a wedding that I was at recently, the one in Colorado, we basically commandeered an entire, like we were asking for more coffee so much that the people who were, the caterers at the wedding were like, they took us in the back and
Yeah.
they were like, you can brew it from this.
Wow.
This gigantic,
Really?
from
That's
this
fantastic.
gigantic coffee vat. And so we did full octane,
Like the real
Zapier
diesel,
coffee. Yeah.
no fluff at all,
I felt incredible.
just fuel.
Yeah.
Did you have it in a styrofoam cup?
No, it was, it was in like the coffee cups.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like what you would get, it's a reception or a funeral
Absolutely.
or something.
We
cup.
were just slugging it.
I was gonna say I haven't seen coffee at a wedding.
I haven't
I don't-
either.
I don't
I
think I've
honestly,
seen it.
I
this
love
is
a late
this is-
night coffee.
This is
Yeah.
really interesting to. We've all. Well, you will, Austin. Well, I don't know your relationship. I'm
Yeah,
not saying that
come
you guys are
on.
going to get married,
Don't
but
you assume
3 out of the 4 in here, we've had to be part of wedding planning. Never once did we
congrats on your
think,
engagement.
we need to have
Thanks.
coffee available.
No, I wasn't a coffee guy at the time I got married.
Ooh.
But even
So
if you were, would
could
you
do
want it at
not
your?
that you want to do it again, but if you had to have
There
another,
would-
you would do coffee.
There would be like 9:30 coffee would come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
would they bring it out and drop some on each table, or would you have the option to go?
It'd be
up
like
to
a
the-
coffee bar.
Okay.
Yeah. it'd
See,
be-
I've been to weddings now where it's like that, not coffee, but they bring like the couple's favorite like food.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they'll have like pizza delivered, or
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think they had like
Tacos.
cinnamon twist sticks or something.
Yeah,
at
like
one of them.
churros or
That was
something?
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are great because then
That's
you get great photos of everyone on the dance floor with like churros.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
We had beer infused cupcakes that I had a half of one. That's
there,
all I had.
I had no cupcakes at my wedding. I
What'd
didn't
you
get
have?
any.
You didn't get
But
any
you,
cupcakes?
you had them, but you didn't get one, right?
We cut the cake.
Yeah.
We went back.
it was gone.
We were
was just-
mingling, and we came back to the. It was gone.
Yep.
That's brutal.
Yeah. There's
At my
your
own wedding.
your wedding is not for you.
Right.
It's a whirlwind. It's. I mean, you.
I did get to eat first, and I got an
Yeah.
extra roll. Those were
Nice.
the only 2 things I wanted.
Good.
And
Yes.
the whole wedding, the whole service,
I remember the
and
food
reception.
was so damn good after I went through the first time, and I just scarfed it down because we had just come from the bar too, so I had a little bit of
Yep.
the drinking munchies too, on top of trying to stay somewhat sober.
You would have loved a coffee.
Actually, right. You know what? You're
That's
right.
Yeah.
It probably would have helped. I remember thinking to myself after I ate, I'm like, I'm going back for seconds later on. I never went near that thing, and I could have, and it was so good.
No.
It was so good. And I was so mad. And yes, the beer infused cupcakes that I didn't get.
Mm.
One landed on my shoe.
Wow.
That's tough.
Yeah. I went to get one, and
You have
then
to return
I think
the
I was
shoe?
trying to drop. No, I still have them.
Nice.
I got the icing off of it, but I think my wife got some on her dress too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So when she wears it again,
funny.
I love.
I wasn't touching that one.
I love the side eye there. Not wearing it for some other guy. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
when
that
she-
thing is packed away in a closet somewhere.
Yeah,
I
when you-
wonder what it looks like right now.
When you just decide, hey, you know what? I hate everything in my closet. I'm going to put on the wedding gown tonight.
That would be funny.
Wouldn't it? If I just came home one day and she's just in the wedding gown, just lounging.
Yeah, that'd probably. Yeah, that,
Like, what you doing there?
I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign.
I don't know what that is.
It's probably a good sign.
I might have to call somebody. Like, my wife might need some help.
Mm.
Just sitting around in her wedding dress.
Anything
What's
else,
going on?
Austin, that you said other the break that you're proud?
Other than I am a Panthers fan.
Yeah,
That's not a bit.
Okay, so
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he just now has started to like Matt Rule.
That's not true. I liked Matt Rule last year. Just
you did?
not when he was a Panther. Yeah, he was the bane of my existence. And so when Nebraska decided to hire Matt Rule, I was like the one person in the comment sections being like, "Oh, I don't know about this.
This is not good.
You guys better watch out."
So you and
I was
Scott
my own enemy.
Shanley,
Yes,
you
you're
and
right,
Scott
yes.
Shanley. Okay.
So you empathize with the Panthers fans.
I did
They're
retweet.
still on it.
I will hand up because someone will catch it. I did retweet Scott Stanley's tweet, and I was like, I get what he's saying.
Yeah, he ain't wrong. Guy ain't wrong. I'm just
I
saying.
should
He used
probably
to
go
play
back and
Nebraska.
retweet that because that it's David Tepper's problem now. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hey, so I'm a Panthers fan.
What?
Are you?
You know, I'm a huge Panthers
So
fan.
you're gonna?
not.
Yes, I am. I
Do
love
you
the Panthers.
like the Panthers or money
Stop.
more? What do you prefer?
I prefer money more.
Okay,
than
perfect. So
Panthers.
bet the under on the Panthers wins this year.
What's their
5.5?
Oh my,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that team's
Yeah,
not winning more than
free
two.
Free money.
Yeah,
Free money.
yeah, that team's
When
not gonna
did
win more
you
than two
become a
games.
Panther? You're not a Panther.
I was like D'Angelo Williams.
That was his
Oh,
favorite
okay.
Panther.
Yeah, I really liked him.
How many more Panthers non-Cam Newton can you go? Like,
Jonathan Stewart.
Okay, so the two
There you
running
go.
backs.
Yeah,
play
those
together,
guys.
That's
Those
good.
guys. Jake Delhomme.
Jake
Yeah,
Delhomme,
good.
also their
Good call.
quarterback.
Steve
Yeah.
Smith.
Julius Peppers.
So the 2012 Panthers are your favorite version of the Panthers?
I think so.
Hey, Julius Peppers wasn't on that team.
I think Steve
He
Smith
was a
is
Bear.
Steve Smith might be my favorite NFL player of all time. Actually,
What about Luke Kuechly? Come on.
Luke Kuechly?
Luke Kuechly.
He wasn't on that team.
No.
Yeah, I probably was a dormant Panthers fan during
Greg
the
Olsen?
Kuechly
Gross?
era.
Reggie White.
G-Reg.
Muhsin Muhammad.
Yeah,
Come on,
oh,
guys.
I
Listen,
like
guys.
Muhsin Muhammad because he was also a Chicago Bear
Mhm.
when
So-
their most recent Super
Don't
Bowl
forget,
appearance.
Mike Minter.
Yep.
And Mike Brown at one point.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm going to
Yep.
pull up so what did you say? 2012.
2012.
So 2012 they went 7-9. Here's some people on their
Actually,
their.
2010 would be the better
This
one.
is
That would've
actually
been the better
before
one, yeah.
this. I was a Panthers
Yeah,
fan
do
before
2010 because they went like 13-3 or 14.
Oh, that was the
year.
team that
Yeah.
beat Chicago in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they.
Broke my heart.
No, they went 2-14 that year. What,
Oh, whoa.
What are we looking at here?
Is it 2000? It was whatever year the Cardinals went to the Super Bowl.
08.
This is a great list. I googled best Carolina Panthers of all time.
And there's 6 on there.
Yeah, okay.
America's favorite broadcaster, Griggles.
Yeah, G-Reg.
This is definitely my team right here. The 08 Panthers. So I was in high school at the time.
Mhm.
D'Angelo Williams ran for 1,500 yards. Jonathan Stewart. Jake Delhomme was their quarterback. Leading receiver would have been Steve Smith.
Yep.
Muhsin Muhammad. Dante Rosario.
Mhm.
That's a
Yep.
name. Yeah. Dwayne Jarrett was on that team
Yep.
briefly.
Peppers would have been on that team.
Let's
in 08?
yeah, let's go to the defense
I'm trying
here.
to remember who their corner. They had a really good cornerback too, and I can't remember who it was.
Who
Yeah,
was
Julius
it?
Peppers got traded to Chicago. What is it, 9 or 10?
9 or 10, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julius Peppers. Yeah.
That was the start to the end.
Yeah.
It never got better.
He'll always be a Hall of Famer in my book as far as with the Bears.
One of the only players to be in 2 all-decade teams.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did they go to when did the Panthers go to the Super Bowl that first time?
2016 or the first time 2004.
5.
Well, it was the 2005 Super Bowl. 2004
Wasn't that a
season.
John Fox team?
Yeah.
No, they
Yes,
they
of
lost in the
course.
conference championship in 05 to Seattle.
Oh,
So they lost the Super Bowl in 03 or the 04 Super Bowl, the 03 season.
oh, 3 seasons. Okay, there you go.
And so that would have been
That would have been also Delhomme.
Stephen Davis,
Yep.
Deshaun Foster,
Mhm.
Jake,
Fox.
yeah, Jake Delhomme, Steve
John
Smith,
Fox.
Muhsin Muhammad, Ricky Prohl. I always
Yep,
talk about
Ricky
Ricky
Prohl.
Prohl.
Yeah, that's
Josh,
oh
Love
yeah.
Ricky Prohl.
I always talk
Guys
about Ricky
naming
Prohl.
Carolina Panthers.
Yes, this is a good
Everyone's
game.
favorite Connor
This
Happer
is a
show
good game.
Seriously,
Dude's name of Carolina Panthers.
we do this
Mike
all the time.
Rucker.
Mike
Mike
Rucker.
Rucker.
Mike Rucker.
Mike Rucker and
Yep.
Mike Minter, both on
Yep.
that
Yeah.
team.
Josh Norman.
I want to say Chris Brown kicked for the team for a hot minute.
Let's go to the
I think.
kicking.
I feel like there was a very brief period
yeah.
where there were like 3 Huskers
Yes.
on the
Yep.
Panthers.
where they were Nebraska's team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
John Fox, man.
John Fox.
John Fox.
And then Riverboat Ron.
Oh yeah,
Ron after
see, I'm again Ron Rivera, former Bear,
Mhm.
and then John Fox became the coach for the Bears. And
Oh
a really
yeah,
dark
this
time.
is where it started. This was definitely my team. I love this team.
This is my team. I picked the reason I'm a Panthers fan is because in Madden 06 they had the best uniforms, and so I would just do the alternate all blacks with the Carolina blue
Pretty much
accents.
the same, yeah.
Pretty
much
great.
the same.
Did you throw visors on a lot of guys too?
Oh, of course,
Yeah, you had
everybody
to.
had a visor.
Yep, you had to.
Their
It-
win total that year was 7.5, and they won 11 games.
Mhm.
They were plus 6,000 to win the Super Bowl, and they lost the Super Bowl
Whoa.
to the Patriots.
Yep.
Tom Brady.
to the time.
I remember.
Also,
I remember that.
longest touchdown reception in
Yeah.
history. People forget.
Well, and that Super Bowl, if you were watching it here in the fine city of Omaha, it snowed really bad that day. I remember there was a pretty good snowstorm going on because I was really rooting for the Panthers because I was already done with the Patriots. I was.
For that.
Yeah. Well, they were the newest kids on the block too with the Jaguars. Knew that wasn't going to happen.
So
anytime soon.
really, we're saying there are 3 Panther fans in the studio with us.
Go Panthers.
I at least rooted.
Keep pounding.
I rooted for them in a contest. By the way, there is a really, really bad Carolina Panthers super fan song about the Panthers where he makes that noise.
Oh,
yeah, you could probably find it on YouTube. But
Are you
yeah,
sure it's not
he's
the
like,
Colts guy?
Yeah, have you seen the
Carolina
Colts guy?
Panthers. Yeah, I see it. It's not the same guy.
is it better or worse than Marlins Will Soar?
Now, you set a high bar there,
Creed
Mr.
did that
Hodson.
song.
Yeah. Well,
So-
no. Scott Stapp
Or just
did that
just
song.
Scott Stapp,
Okay,
sorry.
don't
It was a
put
solo vehicle.
Yeah, do not lump Creed in there. There's a lot of people in that band that would say, we had nothing to do with that garbage. Marlins Will Soar still sets the tone, but this is just a guy. The Scott Stapp, I'm pretty sure, was just a guy making a song about Marlins. This is just like a super fan thinking that he's onto something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he like goes Carolina Panthers, and then all of a sudden he like goes, rah, and it's kind of
sweet.
freaky.
I'll
Yeah,
watch that.
see if I can find it here.
Go
Go
Panthers.
Panthers.
That's right. So
Connor, I
I'm
did not know this about you.
I'm a huge Panthers guy.
I'm glad to hear. I'll call in every time you talk Panthers. Just let me
Perfect.
know. Yeah.
We're gonna do the worst segment ever this year, which is
Yeah, we're actually going to do this
every week on Monday.
Random.
Every week on Monday, we will come back and from a break, and this will be like probably the end of an hour. At some point, it'll be about 15-minute segment, 10-minute, 15-minute
This
segment.
guy's naming Panthers.
We will talk about how we did in gambling over the weekend.
Nice.
We will talk about how we did in fantasy over the weekend. We'll talk about our individual interests, such as our teams. Josh will talk about the terrible Titans.
Tennessee
I will
Titans.
talk about the terrible Panthers.
Nice.
And then the segment will be over.
How does the Bears fan have
There
the
it is.
best team in the room?
Nice.
Oh, you got to hear the beginning. Hang on.
I've heard
guy-
this.
I mean,
NFL, my lyrics and my rhymes. You eat up what I'm saying, spit and fly hip hop lines.
Hey.
yeah.
Fast, big black cats, Panthers kicking ass.
Whoa!
Boars.
Way to go.
Yeah, the rah 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 is pretty awesome.
I like that guy.
Where have I heard that?
cool, dude. I don't know if you just like funny stuff.
I do happen to like
Funny stuff sometimes just makes its
Funny
way
YouTube
around.
Hey kids, do you like to laugh?
There was a girl that was a Arkansas super fan named Liz Honey that does all these very almost creepy songs towards fandom of Arkansas football, and to the point that she puts a piece of Scotch tape on her nose and pulls her nose back so she can look like a hog.
That's awesome.
That's
Yep.
tough.
Just Google Liz, or get on YouTube and get Liz Honey songs.
We're so close to things like that being
I know.
back.
I know.
SEC weirdo
Yep,
tailgate
SEC
people.
weirdos is.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It means more, but man, it provides a lot of great
And
content.
YouTube used to be such a better place than
Yep.
it is right now. Now it's all podcasts and radio shows.
She has a parody of "I'm a
TV
Believer," but it's about Brett Bielema when he was the coach at Arkansas. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she's a whack job.
SEC tailgates are more fun when you have a coach that's about to get fired too, and Napier's right there. So there's going to be some really good ones in the swamp where
Yes.
you're going to have someone who has like gravestones of Napier and
Oh, yeah.
like his tenure and
Yep.
all that. It'll be a good one.
It's going to implode.
Don't
There'll
let the Cleveland Browns go. They take things too far.
be
Go
some
a little too
there'll
far.
be some Piper jet planes with some banners.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna blow up this year. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see who it is.
I got my eye on Florida.
Yeah, well,
Arkansas is in dangerous
Florida's
territory,
schedule,
obviously.
Florida's schedule's brutal.
Yeah.
Too.
like
it's
the
not
last
good.
6 games are all against like top 15 teams or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
It's not good.
Woof.
I'm sure he'll be 6-0 going in.
Oh no! If they're 6-0, damn! Because they got a couple tough ones out of the gate too. What's their? I'm trying to remember what.
4.5 is their win total on the FanDuel.
I'll get your
Sportsbook.
Florida
That's what
schedule.
Florida's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right out of the gate, they've got some bangers.
Florida this season will open with Miami.
That's right, Miami.
Then they'll get
Everybody's dark horse.
Sanford.
Mm.
Then they'll get Texas A&M.
3-0.
Yeah.
Then they'll go. Then they'll go to Mississippi State.
So they beat
4-0.
Miami. They
Yep.
beat Miami
Yep,
and
they're
Texas
4-0.
A&M.
Yep.
And then a game that will definitely not cause giant uproar if they lose. They play UCF at home,
5-0.
at Tennessee,
Remember,
6-0.
that's UCF at home.
home against Kentucky, Georgia.
6-1.
Oh, that was
6-1.
Oh no. This is the stretch. It hasn't even gotten bad yet.
Yeah, I know.
So then Georgia in the world's largest cocktail party.
Yep. In
But they
Jacksonville.
don't call it that anymore. At Texas, home against LSU, home against Ole Miss, and at Florida State.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
I've been 7-5. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I feel it's also important to tell you that right now under 4.5 is plus 124.
Yeah.
Wow, just free money.
I would like to think if they go 7-5 with that, Billy Napier is
Coach
he's good. Yeah.
Could you parlay?
He'll be safe. Yeah.
he'll be
parlay
safe.
Panther and Florida under wins and just ride that out.
That would be a good one.
I'm
Actually.
going to do that.
Both 4.5.
You have AB on today? You should ask him that.
We do have
AB.
Yeah, can you please? I want to specifically know that.
That
If
would
that
be good.
parlay is worth
Get a Florida and a Carolina Panther.
Hold on. Let me
Under.
see if I could do it
Yeah,
real quick.
some things you can't parlay.
Oh,
Let
that
me-
would be so fun if you could, though.
So let me go to the SEC.
If
you
you
can't,
could- if you
cannot
could-
parlay them,
Ah,
What a bunch of
but they are
crap.
both plus money. FYI,
Yeah. just do a personal parlay.
Why can't I parlay them?
I don't know.
What's going on?
You should be
Parlay.
able to do like under wins of all the worst teams in every league. That would be a lot of fun.
I think that would be a fun little.
That would do
Parlay.
Wizards, Panthers.
You know
Just
what?
do Florida.
Someone will take that action.
I like
Don't
taking
worry.
teams to not make the playoffs
Yeah.
that everybody thinks are going to make the playoffs.
Like the
yeah,
Bears?
you can't combine. them.
Even if Florida messes around,
Nobody is saying the Bears are going to make the playoffs.
yes, they are.
Yes, they
now.
are. Everyone has
All
penciled them into the 7 already.
That's fine.
I have
that
seen
ain't
it
happening.
so often.
That ain't happening. If it does,
Nick,
then
they're going to be good.
Are you
They're gonna
trying?
be better. I think
are
they're
you
gonna be a
setting
9-8
yourself
team.
back already? So
No,
that
I-
way, like,
no, I
when
think-
they
Yes, he
I
is.
think they're going to be a 9-8 team, which I think
sounds
that's
like
great.
a 7 seed.
No, because I think they're going to be the third team in the division. So no, I don't think 3 teams out of the NFC North go.
Hmm.
Because it'll be Green Bay. Detroit, I think, is.
Well, the Vikings are going to win it. So.
I'd like to bet the play. I'd like to bet that the Bears make the playoffs.
Go ahead and do that.
I'd like to do that. That could be fun.
Mhm.
I think Chicago more than anything is going to keep me entertained with the season, and that's
That'll
all I
be
hope
good,
for.
yeah.
And then next year's a banger. The next year you
least-
go.
At least your season will be like exciting and
Yeah.
like you'll have the ups and downs
Yeah.
at times, and like the downs will never be fun, but the ups will be really.
Where I'll be
enjoyable.
very interested in December football in Chicago.
Yeah.
Where that hasn't always been the case.
is that all you want right now, or if they get closer, you're going to be like, man, they didn't make the playoffs. I'm
Okay,
mad.
well, if they get off to a really good start, say they are like 7-2, yeah, then okay, I start moving that goalpost a little bit.
Chicago
But-
Bears to make playoffs on the FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Yes, minus 105.
Wow.
No, minus 115. So you can't really profit.
No.
off of that.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
you know,
So they're basically saying what I'm saying right now is they're
Yeah.
probably an 8-9 or 9-8 team, and they could get in, but there's also a pretty good window that they don't,
yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. Indeed.
which feels about right. Which
I'd
I'm
say
fine
dive
with.
in, baby. Drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm fine.
I
with
mean,
that.
Grab your
See,
purse and
Caleb.
let's head up.
Yeah,
Playoffs
maybe-
bound.
maybe after week 3, when they're 1-2,
Yeah,
that's the time to place the bet because they open with Chiefs, Titans, Texans.
Oh,
Titans.
Jeez.
So they play Titans first.
Yeah.
Chiefs are their next.
Oh, that's a
preseason game.
preseason
Yeah,
game. Okay.
Chiefs are the next.
I'm
preseason
sorry.
game.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
They got the Titans.
Titans, Texans.
Texans gonna be tough,
Got to be 1-1.
and that's a Sunday
be
night
one.
game. I believe that's a Sunday night game in our company's
They're
stadium.
doing.
Then they play the
They're-
Colts in week 3.
They do.
Why do they play 3 straight AFC South teams?
Oh, they're just getting them out.
Well,
all
you got to
the
get
way.
them out of the way.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're just like, all right,
Non-conference
screw that.
schedule.
Now we just want to live in the National Football League.
Panthers,
National
Bears,
Football Conference.
October 6th, guys.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Is that that sounds like a Thursday night football game?
Okay,
Thursday night
it's-
It
football.
says noon.
It's the DJ Moore Caleb
They
Williams
should play
Bowl.
Thursday at noon though. Big noon kickoff.
That is
That's the Nebraska Rutgers.
is that one in
weekend.
Carolina or is that in Chicago?
Chicago.
Okay, so that will be the Carolina Panther Appreciation Day in Chicago,
Okay.
where all of the Bears fans will wear Carolina jerseys just in appreciation of what they've given the roster for Chicago.
I'll wear my DJ Moore jersey.
Big
Where you
Julius
DJ Moore,
Peppers,
yeah, a lot of Julius Peppers jerseys out there
That'd be great.
too.
Yeah.
half jerseys.
Yeah, you got to have the half jerseys.
I'll be busy thinking
Doing
about
what?
Rutgers.
Trying to figure out why their win total's not up on FanDuel yet.
Thinking about Rutgers, man.
It's specifically why you're hosting the Rutgers Big Red Overreaction.
Thank you. I'm excited
Very
for
nice.
that.
Very nice.
Hey, we got UTEP out of the gate, you and I.
Wait, we don't. I don't have UTEP.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Uh-oh.
Or wait, or do you not?
I sent out a revised schedule last week.
It's me and somebody. I thought it was you.
Uh-oh.
I could be wrong.
You've been traded, fortunately. So.
Well, I know I'm doing it.
Did you get that trade that I made?
Yes, I did. So I'm on the 26th of
I do
November.
have UTEP.
Produce the whole station. Over
Yeah,
there.
buddy.
That's
You
right.
and I, we're going to set the tone.
I do have UTEP.
Mm.
Okay.
The two gingers.
All right, let's ride.
Yep.
UTEP time.
Yep.
Let's ride.
All right. Well, see you later.
Hey, have fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Al Nation. what an
Austin,
exciting
thank you.
time.
We appreciate your work.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you back around here plenty more.
Happy to do it. Let me know when you need me.
Excellent. That is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Welcome in. It is Tuesday in the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I got it, Josh. Somebody pressed a button here. Must have been me. Welcome. Connor Happer back for day number 2 of many. I think my next day off, Josh, just so we can all set our schedules, will be in November.
November? What's going on in November?
There is always the opening game for Nebraska women's basketball where they play at noon.
That's right.
And that'll be it.
Well, that's a work thing.
That's, not a work here thing, but
Sure.
it is yes.
But we like having you out in the community and promoting
I
our talent.
love to be out in the community.
That's right.
I am always out in the community. Come up to me and say hello out in the community when you see me. Welcome to a Tuesday show. Just we only have, so including this show, which is mostly still in front of us, we have 9 more shows until
we really
it's
do,
showtime,
don't we?
until it's game time. And one of those shows will feature chicken wings.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Next Thursday, the
Red Out Lunch, baby.
29th,
Next-
will be at Oscars.
Indeed. And
Plan accordingly. Tell your bosses you
we'll
need a long lunch, whatever.
We'll have our round table. We'll get ready for the season. We'll get all our final takes out.
Dust off that graphic.
Next Thursday at 168th and Center at Oscars. Welcome to a Tuesday show. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Today, we'll talk to Allan Bell. We'll talk some NFL and college win totals, things like that with him. Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated in the Stretch Big Pod. He's putting out some good Stretch Big Pods with some former Huskers or Husker-related people this summer. So we'll...
Mike Minter?
Not Mike Minter, but maybe that's on the list. So we'll talk to Jacob at 1 o'clock. That is the lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'd love to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. You can call or text that number. You can tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streaming audience today. Hello, everybody. We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on zonetv.live. We're on Twitch, if you just like to hang out on Twitch. We're on Twitter even, Josh.
That's right.
We're back. We're back on Twitter. I didn't get to reap the benefits of this for the first couple weeks, but I'm excited that we're back on Twitter.
No shortage of ways to watch this program.
None at all. From the text line, you have a kid, Connor, no days off ever again. That has proven to be true so far.
Yes,
that is proven to be true.
And I'm going to tell you something that is going to be hard to hear.
Uh-oh.
This is the easy part.
Yeah, I kind of have figured that out.
Okay.
I'm like
the first 72 hours, like you're in a fog, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna drop the baby. I'm gonna mess up the baby.
Because like I said, I'm the father of a blob right now.
Yeah.
She doesn't really do anything.
But everything she does do is the best thing any human has ever done.
It's true. It's very cool when she does anything. But yeah, we need that standard to raise. We need that standard to go a little bit higher. Elsewhere today on the show, we would have done this while I was gone. It would have been at some point last week because I think we have a set date for this every offseason. It's like August 15th or 16th or something like that.
That sounds right.
But we'll do it on the 20th since I was gone last week. The Chunkies are here, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Back and bigger than ever.
We have invited the illustrious Chunks to our grand theater here at 1620 The Zone.
There's a red carpet show going on out in our green room right now.
It's the only award show where there's more awards than recipients. There's only 3 possible people that we could give this to. Chunk 1, Chunk 2, and Chunk 3, and they will be receiving let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 awards.
Wow.
9 awards to be given to 3 chunks. Will one chunk go home and say, hey, why did I only get 2 chunks and the other chunk got 4?
Almost assuredly.
Somebody's going to be disappointed. So we'll find out who that is during the show today at noon. We will bring back MLB Reaction Overreaction, where I have a variety of, I think, interesting topics. I always put just so you guys know, I always put a lot of work into MLB Reaction Overreaction, and I feel like nobody ever says anything about it, which I can't tell if it's a good thing or a bad thing. You probably just turn off the radio for 15 minutes while we do MLB stuff. So maybe that one's for us, Josh. But I still like it, and it's going to keep going all the way. Actually, next week might be the last week of it, because we'll switch it over to college football reaction or NFL reaction overreaction. So maybe
we kind of know everything about the MLB teams right now.
I don't know. There's a lot of things left to be decided. Some of which we'll highlight in the MLB reaction overreaction segment. So we'll do that today as well. Elsewhere on the show, we'll dive a little bit into that snap count spreadsheet that I made. I have some thoughts on schedule. Tom Chattel wrote a column today about scheduling in the college football playoff era after talking to Mr. Yogurt, Nebraska's athletic director. I have some thoughts on some of the things that he said and how scheduling might work going forward. So we'll talk about that. Tua says that Brian Flores is a very Batman.
Oh,
So there's that. And I have a declarative statement to make about Nebraska football.
oh,
Yes. I'd like to declare something
Okay.
during this show today.
Bankruptcy?
No, not bankruptcy.
Okay, good,
They are
good.
definitely not bankrupt.
Good.
But I'd like to say one thing right off the bat today. Nobody cares that backyard baseball is back. So what you're going to see now, because backyard baseball has announced that or backyard sports has like become aware again. They've become alive again. And what you're going to see today is a whole bunch of people on Twitter and a whole bunch of people on your social media feeds saying, yes, I used to love playing as Petey Pablo or whatever as a kid. Pablo Sanchez. As a kid, I used to love this game. It was so fun.
Twisting around your heads, but like a helicopter.
Yeah, and they had video games on consoles at the time, but this game was on a computer, and it made Ken Griffey Jr. look like a kid. Guess what? Nobody actually cares about this. Nobody cares that it's coming back. Nobody is going to play this. So
you're going to force your child to play it. Your child's going to think it's dumb, and you're going to feel sad.
Yep, you're going to see a whole bunch of people talking about how excited they are about this stupid game coming back. And I'm here to tell you that it was great in the moment. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad it existed. I'm glad it had that moment in our time. But we do not need to bring it back here in 2024. We don't need to. It doesn't have to exist.
Connor Happer, the only man with the guts to say the thing no one else will say.
Just yet another time where this has happened. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news in that category. Like, I'm sorry to break this to you. Like, you're that feeling that you have where you're about to hop on social media and cook up a little tweet about how excited you are for backyard baseball, and then you start like naming guys. Like, you're trying to you go to Google and you're like, who were some other guys that were on backyard baseball that weren't Pablo Sandoval? And then you find the guy, and then you're like, man, I used to love playing with whatever the next guy was. You're not actually excited about it. You're just trying to tell people that you played it when you were 12 or 8 or whatever it was. And for some reason, you think that makes you cool. It doesn't. Nobody actually cares. Everyone played it. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And then this is the next step of this. When this happens, you're going to come at us and say, you don't have to be mean about like the things people like. Just let them like the things they like. I'm telling you that you don't actually like this.
That's all.
Your nostalgia for it is higher than your actual like of the thing.
Indeed. Everybody wants to go back to when they were a little tiny baby.
Yes.
Everybody wants the burden of responsibility.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing you actually like.
Or everybody wants to leave the burden of responsibility. They want to go back to when they were kids so they could just sit on their computers all day and play backyard baseball with Pablo Sandoval. But guess what? You don't actually care about this. So either listen to me or don't. I'm not telling you that you have to listen to me. I'm just trying to make you realize what your feelings are.
Like the college football game when it came back. Remember how excited you were? For years, literal years, I had to listen to you all talk about how excited you were that EA Sports was bringing college football back. And since its release, all I've heard is you complain about this game isn't quite how you remember it. The passing's too difficult. The AI's too tough.
It's too hard.
I used to be able to take Fresno State to a natty 19 times in a row, and now I can't because I'm old and dumb.
And I don't play as much anymore.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing that you will have with backyard baseball.
Oh, well, I can't wait to recruit. I'm gonna get those kids. I'm gonna get them in the boat with me, and we're gonna run off natties left and right. Oh, I got the game, and it's so hard to recruit. They've made it challenging. What happened? Oh my gosh. That's you. That's what y'all have sounded like this summer, and I'm sick of it, quite frankly.
Unfortunately, Josh is right here.
That's right.
Unfortunately, he's telling you the truth.
I'm happy you got the game back, but nothing is ever as sweet as you remember it.
No.
Because your brain takes care of you in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It protects you.
Yeah. I'm going to teach you a little bit about brain chemistry today. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
You probably weren't ready for that, and I understand.
Yeah.
You're mad at me right now.
It's early. It's early.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to hear it here first. Maybe we should have saved it for 1 o'clock or something like that. But I mean, like
After
it's an important point.
Mhm.
So apologize, but that's just how it is. That's just how it's going to go. All right, we will. We're starting things off today. We'll once again got some Husker topics coming your way. I didn't wear my tuxedo today for the Chunkies. It's a casual year at the Chunkies here in the Grand 1620 The Zone Theater.
That's right.
There's no dress code.
I literally thought about wearing a tuxedo T-shirt, but it was a little snug, and I didn't want to wear it all day.
They never fit right, do
Yeah,
they?
no.
They're always smaller than you remember them.
It's always the cheapest of the T-shirts.
Yeah, much like the backyard baseball games. It's just never how you really remember that tuxedo shirt when you bought it.
That's right.
It was a good thing for that one time,
Mhm.
but not now.
That's right.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers have not been ranked since week 2 of the 2019 season.
Wow.
That was after they beat South Alabama in a game where they needed to, they were ranked in the preseason that year. They were 24. Then they beat South Alabama, and it was closer than everybody wanted it to be. They had to get a pick 6 to kind of get out of there. It was very uncomfortable before they played Colorado that year, blew a 17-point lead and lost in overtime. They were number 25 in week 2 of 2019. Since then, Nebraska has never been ranked. Never. And it was before the preseason ranking of the 2019 season, it was since the end of the, conference championship week of the 2016 season since they were ranked. So 3-year, a 2-season gap there with 17 and 18. And now basically all of 19, all of 20, all of 21, all of 22, all of 23, and so far every bit of 24. We've seen just one ranking come out for the 2024 season. So we're talking about 5 seasons where Nebraska has not been ranked. And so what I'm about to say may surprise you. You may think that I'm setting the bar too high. You may think that I am overreacting. Josh can get out his little sign that says overreaction on it.
I got it back here.
Do we keep any of them in the studio? We should probably keep them in the studio just in case there's an overreaction to something.
I got him.
So you could grade this take, Josh, all you want. But is it that? Or is it not? Or is it concern? Maybe. Josh has only 2 signs. You need more emotion signs, by the way.
I do.
We'll get there.
I got 100 of these cards in the back.
If Nebraska is not ranked at some point this year, if Nebraska goes through this entire season having not earned a spot in the top 25 at any single point, we have the drought extends another year of not being ranked. I'm talking just 25, not receiving votes. They've received votes since then. Not receiving votes. We're just talking about being ranked in the top 25, and we're talking about the AP top 25 too. And if, the playoff one counts as well. If Nebraska goes through this entire season not being ranked, again, the season is a failure. Failure, Josh. Failure. Because think about it. Nebraska has already gotten a little bit of preseason buzz. I think they got a coaches poll vote this year or something like that. I don't think they got any AP votes. But they're in the top 35 to 40 teams in college football. At least that's what people think from a perception standpoint. So, if Nebraska wins in week 1 against UTEP, they'd creep up closer. If Nebraska wins in week 2 against Colorado, they'd creep up closer. And then the rest of that schedule, all the way leading through the end of October when they play at Ohio State, is relatively easy. They may play a ranked team in there somewhere. It may be Rutgers. And that game is at home. Nebraska should be ranked at some point during this season. Because even if you so obviously if you start 7-0, you're going to be ranked. If you start 6-1, you're probably going to be on the cusp. If you start 5-2, that would be viewed as a little bit of a disappointment, or maybe you wouldn't be getting as much out of those first 7 games as you expected. And then my expectation would be, okay, you have to go and earn that back somewhere. You have to go beat somebody that people didn't think you were going to beat in the preseason. Maybe this program is not ready to go toe-to-toe with Ohio State and beat Ohio State on the road. Sure, that's fine. But all those last 4 games after that are toss-ups. They're in that range of like, hey, you could win them, you could lose them. Nobody really knows where they're going to end up. We'll cover that in the Chunkies. Ooh. USC, UCLA, Wisconsin, and Iowa. What's going to happen with each of those teams this year? That's your final chunk of your schedule. 1 or 2 of those teams is probably going to be ranked. Nebraska should be expected to beat a top 25 team this year. If we're taking a proper progression, Nebraska has a 5-star quarterback. It's time to go. It's time to win. And I know that the expectation around here has not been anywhere close to that over the last several years. It just hasn't. But I think you'll probably find out in the first couple weeks of the season that your expectations are going to go up quite a bit. And you're going to forget that fear, that constant threat, that constant dread that you had during the offseason. What if Dylon's bad? What if we suck?
Some people's
Again.
expectations haven't changed since 1997.
That's true. There is that side of it too, and I can't I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's more of a you problem.
I don't know what to tell you on that one. But at some point this season, Nebraska will be ranked, and if at some point this season Nebraska is not ranked, then I think that's a problem.
So
it's not a high bar, Josh. Top 25. Look at the teams that finish in the bottom, in that bottom edge of the top 25 every year. They win 8 games. They win 9 games. They're in power conferences. That's Nebraska. Everyone agrees that Nebraska has a light schedule, right?
Right.
So think about it a little bit. Put your money where your mouth is. Nebraska should be ranked at some point this year.
So pull the curtain back. We got this prep sheet, Connor and I.
Yes.
Connor does all of it. I just read it.
But you make the graphics and stuff.
That's right. He put that on there and I read it and I went, whoa. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, they should be at worst 5-2 after the first 7 games. And at some point in there would be one of those tiny little numbers next to their name because they're already receiving votes in the AP.
Nebraska. Oh, they are? They have received votes in the AP?
They're 35th or whatever.
I didn't even, that AP poll happened while I was gone,
That's
so
right.
I didn't really look at it.
I don't know if it's technically receiving votes, but they're 35th or something like that.
Well, if they're, well, let me check this and make sure. Yeah, they got 16 votes.
Okay.
They got 16 votes. So,
oh yeah, somebody had them at 14th in the country to start the season.
wait, what?
One person.
Where's the AP poll tracker? We never did this.
Well, you were gone. San Jose Mercury News, I believe, put them.
Oh my God! Can we talk to that guy
at 14th to start the year?
Can we have that guy on?
I can certainly reach out. So, what were you thinking? What do you know?
Hold on here. Let me go to Nebraska. Yeah, you're right. Tied for 34th. John Wilner. John Wilner is a Pac-12 lover.
Yes.
He is a lover of Pac-12. Kirk Kenny had Nebraska at number 22 in his preseason poll. He is of the San Diego Union Tribune.
Oh, okay.
What's going on with those guys? What's going on with the Pac-12 guys loving Nebraska?
It's a little something called Calabrasca.
So they got a 14th place, they got a 22nd place, and no other voter included them in their top 25. But that was enough for Nebraska to get 16 points in the top 25. One more point than rival Wisconsin.
Oh.
Obviously quite a ways from being inside the actual top 25. So if you win week 1, and if you win in the fashion you're supposed to win, the Pac-12 guys will say, see, I told you so. And then more voters will continue to put Nebraska higher and higher. If they win in the big stage in week 2 against Colorado with Colt McCoy in the building and Shador's rap album,
that's right.
They will continue to go up even higher. They may even be rated after that week. I don't think this is that high of a bar, Josh. Like you said, you looked at this and you thought, man, this guy might be crazy. What's he really expecting out of them this year? And the answer is not that much.
Yeah.
Not that much.
Connor's not saying they need to be a top 10 team.
I'm telling you that they should do what they're supposed to do in the first 7 weeks of the season. That's the natural step here. We played the clip from Rule yesterday about how they got a bunch of guys who can execute, and they're trying to, find some guys who can go, give them a little bit more. And if Nebraska feels like they got a bunch of guys who can execute, and they have halfway decent quarterback play, and they're not turning the ball over 100 times a game, Nebraska's going to take care of business in their first 7 games. They're going to win at least 5 or 6 of them.
TCB.
And that is a top 25 team. You're in the Big Ten. Doesn't matter who you've beaten. Doesn't matter who believes in you or doesn't believe in you. We talked about this in 2016. Nebraska didn't beat Jack except for Oregon, which coincidentally was their last ranked win. That team didn't end up being very good, but they were number 22 at the time. That was their last ranked win.
Get ready to speak BTO, baby. Bachman Turner overdrive.
Nice. This is not a high bar. This is not a high expectation to have for your football team. because of the way it sets up schedule-wise for Nebraska. UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana. You should be ranked somewhere in there. You should be ranked probably after that going in. There should be two little numbers sitting on the bottom of the score bug when Nebraska plays Ohio State on Saturday, October 26th. There should be two numbers, not just the one. And if not, like I said, if they're 5-2 and people are like, oh boy, I don't know, they lost a couple games that they weren't supposed to, then I think they need to be able to get it back in the Final Five. So the natural progression for this program is to be able to confidently and consistently take care of teams that you're supposed to take care of. Nebraska might be favored in each of its first 7 games, each of them. When you put it that way, you're like, oh, all right. That sounds a little bit different. And I think the progression after that, and maybe both of those happen this season, is for Nebraska to actually win as an underdog. Yeah, actually win a game as an underdog. It doesn't have to be the 3+ touchdown spread that is currently sitting on the FanDuel Sportsbook with Ohio State. I believe it's 26 or 27.5.
That's right.
Which, frankly, if we're being honest, seems large. It doesn't feel a little heavy to me.
Oh.
Doesn't it feel a little heavy?
I mean,
if Nebraska's not going to, if they're not going to turn the ball over.
Right.
I'm not saying not going to turn the ball over. I'm saying turn the ball over less. Like if they're not a constant threat to drop the ball on the field.
Catch the snap.
There's not going to be any 62-3s around here anymore, guys.
I wouldn't think so, but I am a little conditioned to seeing that spread once a year doesn't surprise me anymore.
Let me go to no, it doesn't surprise you, that's for sure. Let me pull,
although your statement that Nebraska will never be a 33.5 point
is that
underdog.
Okay, I was trying to remember the number that I set that at.
I can't remember if it's 30.5 or 33.5. I'd have to go back and check the tape, but still, you're still right.
I stand by that.
Looks pretty good right now.
I'm going to so I had this all done for Frost, and it looks like I've updated it for the first year of Rule last year as well. So Rule, in his career, has coached 102 games. He's 52-50. 37 of those 102 games have been one-score games. He's 13-24 in one-score games, but he's 1-14 in one-score games in his year ones. Year ones are over, Josh. Year ones are over. So once again, if you take if we're talking about one-score games, you take the 1-14 out of the 13-24, you're left with 12-10. He's actually been pretty good in one-score games in his career. He's won more than his fair share. In his career, outright, as a favorite, he is 33-12. 33-12. Whatever that percentage is of the time, they win as a favorite, no matter what the line is. 33-12. As an underdog, he's 19-37. Frost was 2-18 outright as an underdog. Only won 2 games that they were not favored in. I believe one of them was like a 1.5 or a half point Purdue thing. It basically didn't even count.
Oh, okay.
I could go to his in a second. But you should be winning more games that you're underdogs in as well. Obviously, you should be winning a lot more games as a favorite. Just to compare the two, Matt Rule outright as a favorite, once again, 33-12. Frost, 14-12 outright as a favorite. You have to win more games that you're supposed to win. That's the natural progression for this program. And then you win a couple as an underdog. Maybe one of those things or both of those things happens this year. In order to do it, or if you do it, you will be ranked at some point. Just to bring it back to Frost here, and Scotty, he went 1-5 in one-score games in year one. at Nebraska. Remember, Matt Rule in year one said it stops at Temple, Baylor, and Nebraska 1-14. So you lose one-score games in year one. That's just how it goes.
You're learning.
But like I said, the rest of Rule's career, 12-10 in one-score games. The rest of Frost's career at Nebraska after year one in one-score games, 4-17. That guy sucked.
I mean, if he just would have had the Akron game, would have all fallen into place.
Chris in Montana writes in.
Hi, Chris.
Good call on being ranked. There's basically only one scenario where it wouldn't be a complete failure and they weren't ranked. They'd have to end the regular season 7-5 and win their bowl game at 8-5. Besides that scenario, I can't think of another one where you'd be disappointed if they weren't ranked at any point of the season. You wouldn't be disappointed if they weren't ranked at any point in the season. But a lot of things would happen through that. Yes, but I agree. It's not a high bar at all. I do not consider it to be a high bar.
Well, what it really means is that something has disastrously gone wrong in the first half of the season.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those are games that you're going to be favored in. Those are games that Matt Rule consistently in his career has won. Consistently.
The thing we've talked about for years, you're going to be able to do. What if they just had an easy start to the season and kind of dipped themselves into the tub like an old man into a bath?
Oh, that sounds nice. You can dip myself into the tub of wins that you're supposed to get.
That's right.
John emails in on the Equitable Bank inbox. Being ranked is not an extremely high bar. Making a bowl game is an even lower bar, and Nebraska has not been able to do that. If they haven't fixed their mindset of being a losing team, neither bar will be cleared. I think that is definitely a major question. Certainly. I mean, and you don't know until you know. And I think they're working their way through that stuff as well. Matt emails in.
Hi, Matt.
Last year, the final 21 through 25 in the I think this is the playoff rankings. SMU, Iowa, Kansas, Liberty, and North Carolina State. Shouldn't be hard for Nebraska to be in this group. Not asking much. Just be in the middle of the pack. You know, I think, and we'll talk about the playoff here in a second, and how it changes things. But, you know, last year with the 14 playoff, there's probably 8 to 10 teams at the beginning of the year who you're like, who will say to themselves, I think that we can make the playoffs this year, and I think that we should make the playoffs this year. We should have the goal of making the playoffs this year. There was only probably 8 to 10 teams that was actually true for. This year with the 12-team playoff and the way that you can get in, and especially from Nebraska's position in the Big Ten, there's probably 35 to 40 who could say at the beginning of the year, yeah, I think a goal of ours should be to make the playoff. So if it sounds crazy to you, it shouldn't. And that's another adjustment I think that we have to make. We could talk about that as we go on throughout the show today as well. I want to hear from you guys, 402-951-1620. We will return. I want to get to some more of your comments when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. We'll be joined by Allan Bell in just a couple minutes. We'll talk about, we can talk about football now almost completely, right?
Yeah. What else would we talk about?
Which hype trains is he on?
Oh, yeah.
Which hype trains is he not on?
I think we did a little college version of that last week. I'm trying to remember. I think he's definitely a Florida is going to implode guy.
Oh, okay. We can get more on that.
Tennessee's interesting to him.
Tennessee's interesting.
He obviously lives in the area, so he's consuming a lot of that
he's
content.
A freak. Bunch of weirdos.
Supposed to have a really good quarterback with a really weird name.
Yeah, I'm a leva.
Sure.
Speaking of college football, here's one for you.
Love college football.
But do you like QR codes? Or are you an old man get triggered every time it says scan the QR code?
You remember when they did it during the Super Bowl?
I'll tell you one time when I love QR codes.
Oh.
It's when I have to verify or I have to authenticate something to log into something.
Okay.
For example, last night I wanted to watch the Chasing 3 thing, but I wanted to watch it on my TV.
Sure.
But it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I open up the YouTube app on my TV. And then it's like you're not logged into YouTube on here.
Oh, okay.
But you can be if you just scan the QR code with your phone and then you authenticate it by a press of a button on your phone.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a good one.
That's when QR codes are good. So you grade this QR code. Maybe this could be a recurring segment on the show,
grade
Josh.
This QR code.
Grade this QR code.
Let's do a baseline of QR code. Menu QR codes.
I'd rather have that. That's like a 5 out of 10.
I want to hold the menu.
Yeah, I'd rather have the menu, but I'm not going to be mad about it.
Okay.
I'm not going to be mad about
so
it.
So that's a 5. Okay.
Yeah, that's in the middle. Good QR code was the one I said last night. Bad QR code is here's a commercial and just scan the QR code. Or we, at the Husker or really any basketball games or baseball games, football games, it's like, hey, we have a program and you can download it on your phone, but let me fetch this QR code up for 0.8 seconds.
Yes.
Not going to do that. That's not going to be that's not going to be how you get it.
I've scanned a QR code in an arena one time. It was for UNO hockey.
And was it for eating?
No, it was for the program.
You did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of in on that QR code.
I was with my child who loves hockey, and I just maybe there's something in here I can use.
Yeah. Was it up there for a long time?
It was up there long enough for me to read it, pull out my phone, and
all right, here's this QR code. Oklahoma State football will wear QR codes on their helmets this season. They are basically acting as a helmet sticker on the back, where there's a conference logo, there's whatever team stickers you want to put on there, and then there's a QR code. It will link to basically the NIL funds for student athletes. It's linked to a general fund to donate to the NIL cause at Oklahoma State. Brett McMurphy writes, it is believed to mark the first time a college football team will wear QR codes in regular season games to promote players' earning potential. So immediately, Josh and I are old, and our thought was, okay, so how am I going to ever scan this QR code?
Am I supposed to point it at my TV in game? And
yeah. Now, it has been pointed out, just as we missed the thing yesterday where you could pass the thing down the aisle instead of passing your card down the aisle. The
card scanner.
Pass the card reader down your aisle instead of passing the card down the aisle. So we're old. Thank you for telling us all this stuff. It turns out now, we're just getting this, that you can pause your TV. But I thought the whole point of a QR code was that it was the ease of it, and I don't have to try. How much harder is it to Google, I'd like to donate to NIL at Oklahoma State?
Yes.
I'd say actually it's less hard than pausing your TV, zooming in on the back of a guy's head, or waiting for the back of a guy's head to show up so I could see the QR code, scanning it, and then donating to the NIL.
And then you're kind of behind on the game a little bit. Like, you can catch up during commercials, but not as easy as it probably seemed in that meeting, in that initial meeting. Hey, let's put QR codes.
This
on
is
the
a
back of
bad
these
QR
helmets.
code.
Yeah.
Grade this QR code. This is bad. This is maybe like 2 out of 10.
Somewhere between menu and in-stadium program, but closer to in-stadium program.
It's not me being mad and old. It's not me being old and mad about the fact that that QR codes are taking over the world or whatever. Like, it's not that. It's just the functionality of it does not seem to be very. It doesn't seem to be very high functioning.
This was rolled out by people who are not Oklahoma State today. Like, they broke, quote unquote, broke the story or whatever. Oklahoma State should have controlled the narrative on this one and said, here's how it works before anybody got wind of this. But also,
yeah,
I would like the same outraged individuals to call back into the show today.
Oh, about the card scanning.
We want to be consistent, don't we?
We do. This is a good one. This is a good QR code. Texter writes in that they like to pay their check with the QR code. I actually kind of like that too.
Oh, like at the restaurant, pay your tab.
Yeah, it just
yeah.
they get when they bring the receipt around, it doesn't
Yes.
actually say anything on it. It just has a QR code.
I don't have to wait to leave. I'm done eating. I'm done. You're the waiter or waitress. You're busy. I get that.
Because more than likely the card's on your phone, like it's already been plugged into your phone to
Right.
buy other things off of the internet that
Google
you bought.
Pay, Apple Pay,
and so it's
whatever.
already there. You don't even
Yeah.
have to pull out your wallet. You're like, okay, perfect. One thing I can never remember though is my security codes.
Oh, really?
I never remember my security codes.
Hmm.
Some combination of 3 numbers that I just can't really get straight for whatever reason.
My card's on its last leg right now, and then so I'm gonna have to get a new one.
I have to get a whole. You have to change everything.
Yeah. Every month I'm gonna get an email. Oh, we have not received payment on this. I'm like, oh, I forgot one.
Sorry, I'll be a month behind on this one.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Bad QR code. That's the first installment of Grade That QR Code. That will be a recurring segment here
Definitely.
on the Connor Happer Show. Coming back, we'll talk to Allan Bell of Driving the Line. We'll talk about some bets that you might want to make this year. Is he interested? Has he gone in on any preseason things? Is he into fantasy? I know a lot of you are having your fantasy drafts here soon.
Oh, way to think of the audience.
I love the audience.
They're the best.
They are the best. And so we'll talk to Allan about that and more next on 1620 The Zone. But first, speaking of the audience being the best, I have a great deal for the audience. It's for the FanDuel Sportsbook, which is America's #1 sportsbook. But it's not just that. It's not just your ease and your ability to be able to place bets and have it go right there and all the bets that they have available. But there's something a little extra. Now through September 22nd on the FanDuel Sportsbook, all customers, not just new customers, all customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. If you're anything like me, you got YouTube TV, and you can quad box all these things too, by the way.
Fully customizable, the 4 games you want.
That is quite intriguing, Josh. With a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. And you can cancel, of course, anytime. 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer. Use it. Download America's #1 sportsbook right now. 21 and over, present in Iowa. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees, the Swords Hotline by our dear friend Allan Bell of drivingtheline.com. AB, great to talk to you. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I missed that voice. How we doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm trying to figure out how to be the parent of a blob. This is what I keep telling people. Somebody asked me this morning, because I'm a girl dad now. They were like, "What's it like being a girl dad?" And I said, "Well, I don't really know. My kid is not even 3 weeks old yet. I'm the parent of a blob, so it's exciting."
Yeah, it is. Well, first off, congratulations to you and the blob and mom. All right. So, no, I mean, you're right. Like, it's so funny that, like, I don't have any kids, but my sister does, right? And I was there, every step of the way with it. And you're right. Like, the first, I don't know, 2 months or something, it really is. It's just a blob that, like, sleeps, and then you got to, like, take care of it at just crazy hours.
Yep.
But, yeah, you're right, man. But congrats for real, though.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, they don't do anything. So it's we'll see what happens as time goes on.
I don't either, so there you go.
All right, AB. I wanted to talk some NFL today. We could maybe dive into some college stuff as we go on throughout here, because the NFL will be the main focus of what we talk about Tuesdays for the rest of the season.
This great upstart league. I'm proud of it.
I know it's this little cool thing, and I know nobody really talks about it, but so I figured we would just to make up that market inefficiency.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good call. It's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Very kind. Yeah.
So I know you've done a pod, or many pods about, just kind of like team preview stuff and like who you like, who you don't. Is there anybody you feel either more confident than the public on or less confident than the public on that you feel comfortable with going out on a limb for at this point?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm big on the Dolphins this year. I think that they're going to be a good football team, man. You know who I'm not as excited about? The Buffalo Bills. I think see some trouble in the Northeast, man. I'm a little concerned up there. And look, they've got talent, but I worry about the coaching staff. We kind of had some things pop up last year. Stephon Diggs is gone. I'm just a little concerned. What are your thoughts there on Buffalo?
It'll be weird for me because this will be the second year in a row in which I'll be claiming that the Bills are due for some sort of a fall off. We remember the conversations that we were having last year about them. Like I thought I had them pegged, and they still ended up getting back to where they always get to. That's
the problem. Like, no, and not to interrupt you. Like, that's the problem is that Josh Allen is so good, and they have so many good players there, right? That it's like you could be right in that statement, and they still outperform.
I know.
You know what I mean?
That's how they made me angry last year. They are plus 130 to not make the playoffs at this point. Which, if I'm getting plus money on that, I really like it. I think it's a team worth taking a shot on to be on the wrong side of that line this year.
I completely agree. You know who's another team that I'm fading? Right, the Los Angeles Rams. All right, their win total is 8.5. And the under is plus 135. Like I think Sean McVay is one step out the door. All right. I think he's ready for the broadcast life. He's been hitting at it for like 2 years now. No more Aaron Donald. And if anything happens to Matthew Stafford, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the kid from Georgia, but
it has not been good, Allan. It's not been good.
No, it hasn't. And yeah, man, like I think that this could be the year that the Rams just kind of they start looking ahead to the future, right? Like who's going to be our next coach? I'm not feeling that, especially at plus money. Yeah, man.
Let me get another one from you. Okay, so Dallas. I mean, there's no shortage of people talking about Dallas. Their problem, or I guess the thing that they have going for them, is the fact that I'm not sure that their division is very good. Washington is still not going to be there. The Giants still have the same problems that they always have. And I don't know what to think really about the Eagles this year. Dallas is plus 164 to not make the playoffs this year. That feels like a 500-ish team to me, and we're talking about the difference of a couple close games here and there. I could easily see them sitting at home in January.
You know what? It could go either way because, look, the Cowboys, their win total's 10.5, and it's plus 150 to the over. And here's the deal, right? You got your quarterback that wants to get paid, wide receiver that wants to get paid, linebacker that wants to get paid, right? Well, you know what? You want to get paid, you kind of have to play well.
Yeah.
I think that Dallas could have a great year, and I could also see it absolutely imploding. That's what makes it so difficult because there's no in between.
I'm currently sniffing out bad vibes teams. Like the Bills were my bad vibes team last year, and it kind of came back to bite me. I think the worst smelling team right now of the quote unquote like contenders is Dallas. That does not smell right to me.
No, and the hard part is that especially when you have homegrown players that you drafted that aren't happy, that's when your locker room gets sour, right? It's one thing if it's a free agent, people are like, oh, whatever, you've been here for 2 years, who really cares? But when it's your quarterback and your star wide receiver, that's when things, and that's, with NFL teams, with offices, with families, right? Like, it can turn sour quickly, man. So I agree with you. Like, that is going to be something to absolutely pay attention to. And remember, you've got a head coach that's kind of coaching for his job as well. Like, this is either going to be great and like a Friday Night Lights rallying cry, or this is going to be horrific. Like, there's no in between.
Okay, so a couple teams who smell a little odd to me right now. The 49ers smell weird. I'm there's the whole Ayuk situation. They've kind of been, obviously they've been a really good team for a long time. They have a great infrastructure and a great foundation of what they're doing up there. Like you just have this kind of sense that they're always going to be the 49ers. Like this is going to be there forever. But much like the Cowboys, I do think getting, and the Bills for that matter, going to where they've gone and falling short as many times as they have probably wears on a franchise a little bit. And I think you're kind of seeing that a little bit with Ayuk. That's a long shot to not make the playoffs. I wouldn't take that, but they smell odd to me right now too, San Francisco.
Yeah, you wonder like how long can the hopes and dreams like stay alive, right? You know what I mean? Like it's like okay, you keep trying stuff. It just doesn't work like in the end. But the tough part on that bet, because I'm with you, I wouldn't take it because the division stinks, right? Like
yes.
Unless just catastrophic injuries, which they've been the team that have dealt with that, right? But they're good. Like they've just got talent everywhere, man. But it's the bigger picture, right? And it's like every time, they start feeling good. Here come the Chiefs, and they just start beating them down. I'm with you, man. Like that it's difficult to stay up so many times in a row. It's hard, and especially if any adversity comes this year, which it sounds weird, but like you lose Brock Purdy or something, or you lose McCann, whatever. I'm with you. Like that's definitely something I like. They're going to make the playoffs because the division stinks. But after that, we'll see, man. The problem is that their defense is so good.
Yeah,
it's just so good, man.
I totally agree. Like it's tough for me to go too far down that line, but I'm watching them. They're on they're on the radar.
Your eye.
Yeah, they got my eye for sure. Another team that has most people's eye, people love to talk about them, is because they have
Tennessee Titans.
Well, the Tennessee people love talking about the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, you can currently get them at the low price of minus 550 to not make the playoffs if you're interested.
Actually, that's a great bet. Keep going. Who are you going to say?
What about the Jets? What do we do with them? They're like, it's a team who everybody, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of people bought in on last year and thought they were going to hit the ground running with Rodgers. It all crashed down after 4 plays. They theoretically are in a very similar situation this year, but it's a lot quieter. There's no hard knocks, there's not as much talking from around there. Like, what do we do with them? Because I kind of feel like it's unfair to say that they're sneaky because they're not sneaking up on anybody, but I do feel like they could kind of cash in on what they thought they were going to get last year.
I do too. And look, Aaron Rodgers is all right. That '90s teenager that like got that first Nirvana album, and just like went grunge, like whatever. Like he's the ultimate contrarian. So if everybody is out on the Jets, I'm in on the Jets, right? But when it starts going positive, like things will just happen. He's going to Egypt again. Like there's no, like you just can't pin this guy down, right? But I think that Aaron Rodgers, he does care about his legacy. He does care about playing football. And look, I felt so bad for him last year, that injury, because he looked really excited to play in New York, and how that went down was awful. They've got a really good defense. They've got a coaching staff that's also coaching for their proverbial, lives, so to say, with the Jets, right? I'm in on them. Like, I think that it's a division where I think that they could, get up on Buffalo. I think that they could definitely handle New England, and it's like, okay, what do you do with Miami? I'm in. Like, their number, I believe, is 10.5 on wins. I'm in. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I'm in. Like, I'm not saying they win a Super Bowl, but they've got talent, man. Like they can hang with anybody.
Okay, you bring up this is, I don't know if this is a rule of thumb, but if you're kind of mapping out and you're trying to find playoff teams, not playoff teams, like divisional winners, whatever. I think what you just laid out is a really important point. Like, if you are high on Miami and you are high on New York, then you almost have to be low on Buffalo and very low on New England, right? Like, that's it. Would that be how you kind of address and think about each of the divisions? Like, you can't like more than two.
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely, man. Like that's kind of how you have to look at it. The only wild card is the AFC North, because like even the worst team finishes with 9 wins, right? But I'm with you there, man. Like, absolutely. That's how you definitely want to look at it. I think that, New York, I think Miami's going to be the class of that division, as long as Tua is healthy. If Tua gets hurt, now they get some trouble. But yeah, man, like you can kind of go down the list there, and you can do it with any division. And you start mapping out, like, okay, what's their win total? All right, I've got this team here. I've got this team here. A good bet, you could, place like the top 2 finishers. It's like horse racing, It's like they don't have to finish 1, 2 exactly. You could bet that as well, but you could bet it in any of them. It could be you take Miami and New York, and it could be Miami and New York, or New York and Miami. Mm-hmm. Either way, you win that bet. That's a good way to go about doing it.
Hey, I want to ask you one baseball question before we get out of here. You've been locked into this all summer. We're going to do a baseball segment a little bit later on. One of the things that you notice right now, if you look at the standings, is that we have a clear separation between, good and bad teams, playoff contenders and not playoff contenders at this point. But I think there is very little separation in between like World Series contenders and like just playoff teams at this point.
Yeah.
Nobody has above 74 wins. Nobody is trending for more than 100 at the moment, which is really interesting and new in baseball. Like, how do we map out the final month and a half of baseball, and then as we get closer to the playoffs, like figuring that out too?
Yeah, you're right. It's so weird. Pitching just dominates, man. So that's the first place I would look, are teams that have 2 to 3 very high quality starters, right? And you can take a look, teams like the Baltimore Orioles, right? They've got really good pitching, man. And if their hitting can come along, they're going to be a really tough team to beat. The New York Yankees, if they get it together. The Phillies scare the hell out of me. I don't know what to do with them, because they have talent all over the place. But, dude, they can go just blank at the plate at any moment. Same thing with the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers scare me with their pitching because they are banged up.
Mm-hmm.
But Kershaw's getting better. Walker Buehler stinks. It's weird seeing him 1-4. But yeah, I'll say this. I think the World Series winner is going to come from the Midwest to the East, because these teams out West, I don't know if I believe in any. Weirdly, I believe in the Mariners, which, a month ago, they couldn't score more than 1 run a game, but they have really good pitching.
I like where you put that line, right in the Midwest. Just put it at the Kansas-Missouri state line, and anything east of that can win the World Series, right?
Yes, sir.
Works for me. Royals are plus 3,500 to win the World Series right now, by the way. All right.
Time to royal up.
We're going to royal up. Much like people are tightening up, we're going to royal up for sure.
Yeah, there's not 7 people in Nashville tightening up right now. Most people are a little scared.
AB, great to talk to you as always. Looking forward to our future chats on football, and we'll talk next week.
All right, I can't wait, man. Congrats again, buddy. Proud of you, man.
Thanks, AB. Drivingtheline.com is where you can find his stuff, and the podcast comes out every day. Plenty of stuff like that. Just sussing out your bets on a normal, everyday basis. It's beautiful. Figuring it out. The Royals
what do we really think of the Titans, though?
Oh, they're going to suck.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. They're going to be real bad. So it doesn't even make any sense to bet them.
No. Bet other things.
Yeah, do just figure out something else. That's why I like, we talk about me not having an NFL team or having an NFL team. Like I watch the league as a whole.
That's right.
And so I have all these thoughts on all these different teams, and I have all these angles on all these different teams. And it's actually, taking the emotion out of it. It's kind of made it relatively profitable for me over the last couple of years, which has been nice.
Because you've removed your biases.
Baseball's not the same. I'm very, very close. I mean, we'll talk about this in overreaction, but the Royals have quite the stretch coming up. And if they make it through that and they're okay and they're alive, I'm gonna be pretty insufferable in September.
Ooh.
In October. It's crunch time.
I'm
Josh.
ready. As I've told you many, many times, that is a fun team to watch play baseball.
Thank you. It is. Bobby Witt Jr.
They
You forget.
have fun.
And speaking of pitchers who are good, I mean, somehow, some way, the Royals rotation is, despite their massive innings, has remained relatively consistent. Not without a blip or two. Lugo's had a couple bad ones. Reagan's had a couple bad ones.
It's going to happen.
Singer had a blow up inning a couple starts ago. But I'll just say this, if the Royals are in a wild card series, which consists of a best of 3, and they're at home in that series, you like Reagan's, Lugo, and Singer against any other 3 that you can match up?
Yeah, really do.
Yeah, I kind of do too. So that's where you get a little confident. All right, more on baseball later on. Don't forget the Chunkies are coming up in about 10 minutes.
Whoa.
That's right, the Chunkies 2024 here. But first, the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
First, quickly, an update out of Coach Primetown.
Oh, good.
Deion
What's going on over
Sanders
there?
in Colorado have lost an assistant ahead of their season opener, which would be a week from Thursday.
Seems early for that, or late, depending on.
Trevor Riley was a quality control analyst for special teams. Now, that might not seem like a big deal. Quality control analyst. Okay, so what? He probably just got a better job or whatever. When you look at Coach Prime's assistant coaches now, he's got 21 of them. None of them are specifically designated for special teams anymore.
Oh, Nebraska fans, tell them about special teams coaches.
Got to win the special teams. And guess what? Ed Foley's talking today. So we're talking kickers.
Okay.
And punters.
How are those injuries?
And things of that nature.
How's everybody's legs?
So the only conclusion that you could draw from this is that they don't care about special teams. So shame. It's a shame what's happened to that program.
A once great program.
What?
Shambles.
We were in shambles. Coach Prime brought us back to relevancy. Yeah. You're real relevant right now. All right. Anyway, Josh, odd news. What do we got?
Odd news. We have breaking news from Hollywood, sometimes referred to.
Is it about Gosling?
Derogatorily.
I don't care.
Holly Weird. Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, I know Alicia Silverstone,
who is kind of weird. I got to be completely honest.
Is she? What's she doing? I mean, besides just being the hot girl in every '90s movie.
That's right. She was. Oh, let me tell you about young Josh Odson.
Oh no! Don't please stop. Dear God.
She's a bit of a hippie, I guess would be the way to describe it.
Okay.
A very earthy, in tune with.
She likes tie dye. She's a deadhead.
Yeah, she doesn't think those shirts are the worst ever. It's just a heavy cotton. Alicia Silverstone had fans freaking out over her health. Some even asking if she's still alive.
Oh no!
After she munched on what they identified to be a poisonous berry.
Oh no! The internet diagnosed something.
Yes, that's right. The actress was clearly clueless about her snack choice. I didn't write that.
Good one.
Revealing in a TikTok clip Monday, she had no idea what the orange berry was that she picked from a random bush in a random person's yard during her latest UK adventure. That would be the United Kingdom. That's where London is. Alicia admitted she'd already taken a bite to figure out it wasn't a cherry tomato, but she gave another chomp on camera saying it kind of tasted like a pepper. Realizing it probably should not be consumed by a human, Alicia gave fans a close-up of the berry, which they quickly identified in her comments as a Jerusalem cherry, warning her it was so poisonous it could be deadly. Now, if you're thinking, oh, what does the internet know? The Northern New England Poison Center says eating a Jerusalem cherry can lead to symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, drowsiness, hallucinations, and heart issues. No official word on how Alicia is doing.
Oh, really? We don't know if she's alive or not.
Right. But she posted a few IGs after the video. So
okay, she's alive.
People say that, oh, that means she survived. It just means she didn't die instantly. Like we don't know.
It also means that she could be faking it. You know, she could be fake alive.
For social media clout?
People love to do that on the internet. Oh, they're actually dead.
And then I just don't post for 2 days and have everybody talk about me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I just remembered the weird thing Alicia Silverstone did. Her children.
Do they have funny names?
No, they fed until they were like 7, like 8, 10.
Yeah, that's a little long, probably.
It feels like it. Let me give you a parenting advice unsolicited. Yeah. That's too long.
Hey, I'm not in control of that.
Okay.
All right. Also, so I never knew as a kid what was poisonous and what wasn't.
No, how do you know?
So I was always amazed by the people, and I still am, who could look at something and say that's poisonous because it looks like the unpoisonous things. As a kid who grew up with a forest behind his house and would play in said forest a lot, I would just not eat anything off of the plants.
Seems like a great rule
because
of thumb.
There was about a 50-50 chance that it would be poisonous. I don't know if that's actually true. It's probably less than 50-50. But one time somebody was like, that's poisonous. Don't go near that. And I was like, okay, no more eating stuff from plants. And that's it. I don't pick stuff off of plants and eat them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I let other people do that for me. And I buy them.
You be the guinea pig.
I don't do that anymore.
Probably a good rule of thumb.
Thank you.
Go to Michigan for story number 2. Police in Warren have arrested 4 teens and an adult who reportedly attempted to steal new cars from a business yesterday. According to authorities, police were alerted at around 6:30 a.m. to a group of individuals in the Ground Effects automotive lot, where several new vehicles were parked. When officers arrived on scene, they found 2 new Dodge Durangos ramming the security gate to get out. Both Durangos were disabled in the crashes.
Interesting.
Police said several people ran on foot, but officers were able to take 5 of the 6 suspects into custody. Police believe the suspects were attempting to steal 6 Durangos, and they were attempting to break the security gate so they could leave the parking lot in said stolen Durangos.
Do you ever wonder why people don't steal cars off of giant parking lots full of cars?
They're just sitting there.
I think you got your answer.
Oh. The people who run the car lots have thought of this.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Also, Brandon writes in.
Hi, Brandon.
Back to Alicia Silverstone. Brandon says that Alicia's son's name is Bear. So she actually.
Oh, that's right.
That kid actually does have a weird name. So I was right about that.
Weird, but also you could spin that and be like, no, I have a cool name.
Nebraska Football is about to have a guy named Bear next year.
Bear K.
No, not Bear K. His name is Bear. Bear Tinney.
Oh.
He's a recruit in the class.
And that's not Bear K.
That's not Bear K. Different Bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 bears?
1 Bear K and 1 Bear.
Okay.
It's going to be quite the campus.
Interesting. Buckle up, Lincoln.
Yep.
We end in Hawaii for the Pokemon World Championships.
Okay, here we go.
Which have amazingly, A, still exist, and B, have garnered quite a bit of controversy. A hand gesture by one of the finalists at the Pokemon World Championships completely changed the outcome of the tournament as fans argue if disqualification was too harsh.
Oh, is this like the Cooper DeJean fair catch thing?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Nothing is bigger than the World Championships, apparently, which take months to prepare for, apparently, and this year's are being held in Hawaii. You get points throughout the season from events like the European International Championship. Wow, I did not know any of this existed. But American Ian Robb had reached the quarterfinals when he faced off against Fernando Cifuentes from Chile.
Nice.
A game that he eventually won. It would see him through to the next stage, or so everyone thought, because soon after his win, Robb was disqualified. Fans on social media later found a clip of Robb doing what looks like a rude gesture while looking at someone off screen. According to comicbook.com, Robb was booted from the competition for unsportsmanlike conduct. Great program. Robb's DQ has sparked discussion as what he meant. What was the intention? He says he was doing a dice roll. Others say it was a lewd gesture.
Yeah.
Everybody with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
One Twitter user, the best place to go for commentary.
Yeah.
Imagine doing an obscene hand gesture in a championship of one of the most known game franchises in modern history that's rated E for everyone and believing you would not face consequences for being a dumbass. And another Twitter user,
I think he was rolling the dice.
He was clearly mimicking rolling dice if you actually watched the match. So crazy to me.
Should we analyze this?
I don't
know if I really care about it enough to.
Is there a video of that?
But if
right?
enough people are, I mean, it's on Twitter. People are commenting on Twitter, I guess. So
now I do think
I'd like to see
no, he was not doing the dice.
Okay, perfect.
No.
There you go. I trust you, Josh. I trust you, Josh.
There's a face he's making, and it is up and down. It is not.
All right.
It is not hands at my hip.
There you go. We got
dice.
our answer. We got our answer.
Why is this even controversial?
Disqualification immediately.
You're banned.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. To finish out, this is not odd because it is very common. Creighton Volleyball is picked to win the Big East unanimously. Josh.
Unanimous?
Yes.
Creighton?
Well, the Creighton Blue Jays volleyball, if you guys are just
volleyball.
becoming aware to this, yes. They have won 10 straight Big East titles.
Okay.
So they're going to try for 11 in a row this year. The Big East tournament, by the way, is here in Omaha. And they're preseason number 12 in the AVCA poll. So, yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. They have built rivals over that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, they're going to win the Big East again.
Marquette getting one coach's vote.
Marquette's pretty good. That's a nice little rivalry. And, wow, interesting that you bring up Berke. Looks like Berke is here. Berke has arrived.
Well, isn't school starting up soon?
Yeah, it's got to be today, right?
I know it's a little later than normal this year.
Berke, he's in the house. BK in the building, Nebraska men's basketball says.
Okay.
So he's home. Welcome home, Berke.
Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important announcement to make. It's time for the Chunkies. We'll be giving out some awards to only 3 recipients when we come back. The moment that you've all been waiting for, people have asked. They've came up to me in public. They've said, when are the Chunkies? They've emailed months ago, and they said, when are the Chunkies? And the answer is in 4 minutes when we come back from this break. Next on 1620 The Zone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year again. We welcome you back to the 1620 The Zone Theater at the 1620 The Zone stage. I'm your host today, Connor Happer. It's the third annual Chunky Awards. Woo! Please take a seat, settle in. I know this is a small theater. There's only 3 possible recipients for the awards this evening, but we have more than 3 awards to give away. I am happy to say, not to spoil too much, that everybody will walk home with something in their hands today.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody gets a trophy, indeed. The 2024 Chunkies. Why do we do the Chunkies, Josh?
To honor the chunks of the season.
It really marks the end of the off season, because we do a lot of, for about a couple months, we're just staring at that schedule. By now you have it memorized.
It's on your refrigerator.
Yep. You've heard us talk about it enough, and you know that Nebraska plays UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana, Ohio State, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, and Iowa. You know it like the back of your hands. You might not remember which games at home and which games on the road. We'll use this as an opportunity to continue to educate people. But you've been doing a lot of thinking about the schedule. And what we're going to do is we're breaking the schedule into 3 chunks. They are in order. They're in order of which they happen, chronological order. They're not selected and then chunked out from there. They're in chronological order.
You can't cherry pick chunks.
It's 4, 4, and 4. And each of these chunks will be given superlatives. Of course, we will conclude the night with our most prestigious award, the most important chunk. A lot goes into this, Josh. There is, how Nebraska feels about its team this year, what the opponents look like, what their FPIs and SP pluses and win totals and all of this stuff. And trust me, we've done all of the math on it. But we'd like to welcome you all to the program today, to the show today. We're very, very happy that you could be here. And I'm happy to say that this is, it's the third time that we've done this. This is something that we just do now. It's maybe one of the stupidest things we do and one of the most senseless things that we do.
But for some reason, the audience has really glommed onto it.
Yeah,
and we thank them for that.
It's us, handshake meme, the Chunkies. That's it. So we'll start light, and we'll move to the heavier, more important awards. Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio never won a Chunky. Still Chunkyless.
Sad.
And we don't plan on just giving him a Chunky for The Revenant anytime soon.
No. You
Not
gotta
going to happen.
earn a Chunky.
Indeed.
There's no makeup Chunkies. Like, we should have given him a Chunky for that.
There's no lifetime achievement Chunky. The first Chunky of the night will be who's presenting this award, Josh? Who do we have?
The first one,
Alicia Silverstone.
Well, she could not. She was unavailable today.
She's poisoned and dead. Oh God,
I don't know.
Oh,
she'll be in the in memoriam segment.
All right,
later. I believe you will have the honors to give out the first award.
Okay, yes, I will. This award is called the Daniel Kalen It Factor, Just the Two of Us Chunk.
Okay.
All right. So if you don't know what that means, you missed the last 4 days. So Saturday, Matt Rule was like, Daniel Kalen's got the it factor. And I was like, whoa.
Oh.
And then last night, he shows up on the Chasing 3 documentary right at the end, the credits are rolling, and up pops Daniel Kalen in the team meeting. And he's up there very confidently ripping off Bill Withers' Just the Two of Us.
Oh.
He looked like he's got a little bit of a choir background to him. When Matt Rule's talking about the it factor, he's talking about that. He's talking about getting up in front of his teammates and ripping off some Bill Withers. So, this is the chunk. Basically, we're calling it the Daniel Kalen it factor, just the two of us chunk. But what this is functionally is the chunk in which we might see Daniel Kalen.
Ooh.
the Danny Kalen chunk. And that'd be chunk one. That'd be chunk one. Congratulations. First award of the night goes to chunk one. UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois. All the games are at home. Nebraska should win at least 2 of those games via blowout. And Daniel Kalen has 4 games to play this year.
People forget.
So that is the chunk where we will most likely see Mr. It Factor, just the 2 of us himself, choir man, not choir boy, choir man, Daniel Kalen. Congratulations.
Wow.
Congratulations to chunk one.
Just couldn't be happier.
So, Josh, we'll start at the bottom and we'll go up the list.
Okay.
We'll go up the list.
The second award of the evening, the Vala's Pumpkin Patch chunk.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
This is the period of time in which you are most likely to visit Vala's Pumpkin Patch. All right.
Sit in that big chair.
And sit in that and wait in line all day for that big chair to open up.
The nominees are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Forgot the nominees.
Chunk 1.
Yes.
Chunk 2.
Interesting.
And Chunk 3.
Now, Chunk 1, it's a little hot, right, Josh?
A little hot for the patch.
Chunk 3, it's closed.
Yeah, you're done with the patch.
So that leaves just one chunk.
And the chunky goes to Chunk 2.
It had to be you. Right. It had to be Chunk 2. Chunk 2 at Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana, and at Ohio State. I'll give you a variety of opportunities to go to Vala's Pumpkin Patch.
Okay. Now you can get lifetime passes for season passes, 2 of them on our website, 1620thezone.com.
So September 28th, you have an 11 a.m. game against Purdue.
Plenty of time afterwards.
To get to the patch, get in front of that fire, and toast up some mallows.
Maybe if it's a blowout, second half, you get in your car and you go. You listen to the game on the radio.
You're going to want to set aside the Rutgers game. You can't go to Vala's on that day.
Feels serious.
Then there's a bye week.
Ooh. Now, there are like many games of the century that day, but
yes,
you might.
But if you're not interested,
if
you just like college football for Nebraska, then go to Vala's Pumpkin Patch. Then there's at Indiana. Who the hell cares about that game? It's the least cared about game on the schedule. I don't care.
I almost forgot it exists.
Exactly. So that is kind of a bye week, coming off of our definite bye week. And then Nebraska goes to Ohio State, where they're going to get hammered. They're going to get clobbered. And so you could treat that as a bye week too. If Nebraska takes advantage of their first 7 games of the schedule, they might be ranked by that time. That might be Big Noon Saturday. So you can head to Vala's Pumpkin Patch on the last weekend. You'll have an opportunity to do so during or after the Ohio State game on October 26th. Ample opportunities to go to Vala's Pumpkin Patch during Chunk 2.
Love food, love fun, love fall. You love Vala's Pumpkin Patch best of all.
Indeed. Their next award. I want to announce the rest of these, Josh. You did a really good job, but I'd like to announce the rest of these.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Or maybe you can announce it. Maybe I could describe the award.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, you want me to read the title, though?
I will read the title.
Okay.
And I will describe it. You just tell us who wins.
Okay.
You're like the Vanna White of this thing.
I love this.
All right. This award is called the Why Does this conference have all red teams chunk?
Well, it's true.
At some point during the season, you'll be wondering, why is every team red? All right. So the nominees are Chunk 1, Chunk 2, and Chunk 3. And you're looking at the schedule and you're thinking, okay, there's no red teams in Chunk 1.
Nope.
There's 2 red teams in Chunk 2, but there's 3 red teams in Chunk 3, on top of Nebraska itself being a red team. And once again, it could only be Josh.
And the chunky goes to Chunk 2.
Chunk 2. This conference is stupid. There's only 2 blue teams. There's 1 purple team. There's 2 green teams. And there's a couple black and golds. Everybody else is red. Why is everybody red in this conference? It bothers me. We don't have as much variety as we should. Imagine a color like blue. Such a great color.
Sure.
Being so underutilized in a conference that is supposed to be one of the best and spans from coast to coast. I thought this was the diverse conference, but no, everybody's red.
Know how hot powder blue unis are?
Not very.
Not an option
Not
here
as
in the Big Ten.
Not as hot as red.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Everybody's red in this conference. And so we had to give out an award that commemorates the fact that everybody's red. Our next award will be called the Sigs Inside Chunk.
Ooh, sneaky big chunk.
The nominees are Chunk 1, Chunk 2, and Chunk 3. The Sigs Inside Chunk is the chunk that is most, that has the highest potential for emotional distress.
Okay.
Nebraska loses a game. It's nighttime. Your day's been ruined. And Nebraska played like absolute ass. And the only thing that you have left to do after drinking 14 beers on a Saturday
That's right.
is to light up a cigarette in your basement with the doors closed. That's all you have. Sigs Inside is not a, it's not really a thing that you do as much of it as an emotional thing, an emotion that you experience.
I just want to be crystal clear. You're not having Sigs Inside with your daughter, are you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't have any doors in my basement, so I'm not having any cigarettes at all. But once again, it's a feeling more than it is an actual functional thing that you do.
A vibe.
So this is the award that will be awarded to the chunk with the most potential for emotional distress. Chunk 1, Chunk 2, Chunk 3, of course, are our nominees yet again. And the award tonight goes to Josh. Tell us who wins.
And the chunky goes to Chunk 1.
Interesting.
Controversial.
Interesting.
Connor.
Emotional distress.
This is the easy part of the schedule.
All right. So here's each of the chunks has a case. Obviously, there's going to be emotional distress in all of them.
It's Nebraska football.
It's Nebraska football. But there's automatically emotional distress in game 1.
Because it's game 1.
It's game 1.
You don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen.
You know, if they don't jump out to like 21-0 in the first quarter, you're going to just naturally be a little worried.
Game 2 will be a boiling cauldron of emotional distress. If there was ever a game that had emotional distress just attached to it, it's that one.
Boy, I was really looking forward to this game in July. Now I'm terrified.
It is. It's a scary game more than anything. Northern Iowa. A regionally difficult Missouri Valley FCS team that if you lose, you're a national embarrassment. Do not sign me up for that.
Only bad can come from the Northern Iowa game. No good can come from it.
Indeed. Same thing with the UTEP game. And then there's the Illinois Friday night where everybody gets triggered that they're playing on Friday night.
What about the high school sports?
This has emotional distress written all over it. But if Nebraska makes it clear those first 4 weeks, that first chunk, the emotional distress and your need to light up a cigarette inside your house will fade away ever so slightly, all the way up until Nebraska plays again. I think there's cases for all 3 chunks here, but this one in chunk 1, I mean, we're going in pretty high strung already. And obviously week 2 is, like I said, boiling cauldron of emotional distress.
Very much so.
Chunk 3, or chunk,
Next
award 5. Yeah, award 5. We'll call this the chunk of volatility. The chunk of volatility. The chunk of volatility. Not so much from the sense of what's Nebraska going to be. Not so much in Nebraska's potential results from the chunk, but in what the teams in the chunk might be when we get there. And the award goes to Vanna.
Connor, the chunky goes to Chunk 3.
Chunk 3. So let's think about this a little bit.
First chunky of the night for Chunk 3.
I know.
They were waiting a long time.
They were getting nervous. They were getting really nervous. UCLA. What's going to happen with that program this year?
Feels like a tire fire.
USC. What's going to happen with that program this year?
I literally don't know.
It's a big year for Wisconsin. And I think we have a general vicinity of an idea of what's going to happen with Iowa. They'll probably have won 8 or 9 games by that period of time, be putrid on offense, and we'll kind of go from there. So you know what you know about Iowa. Not a volatile program in the slightest. Wisconsin, with a coaching change and a philosophy change, a little more up in the air than they used to be.
They're going to turn the corner?
I don't, on paper right now, and as we've talked about it all offseason, that looks like a really challenging stretch. But you could convince me, just as you can of Nebraska, that, a lot of things could a lot of possibilities and permutations could transpire before Nebraska gets to that November 2nd date with UCLA, both for Nebraska and for UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, and maybe not so much Iowa, but Wisconsin. I don't know what any of those teams are going to be. So it's very possible that Nebraska doesn't take care of business in their first 7 games and then loses to Ohio State. And then you're like, you know what? This back 4 isn't so bad anymore. It's the chunk of volatility. Congratulations to chunk number 3. All right, we're getting into the big ones now.
Okay.
4 left to give away, including, of course, most important chunks. Stay tuned. We can check the text line here first before we get there. Happer's Meme Guy writes in.
Hi, Happer's Meme Guy.
I'm late to the party, but was the in memoriam segment just sound bites of Happer before last season saying if they start 2-0, all bets are off?
Yes.
It should have been. Yeah. That would have been a good idea.
Would have been.
Alex and Lincoln, first cashless at Memorial Stadium, now participation chunkies. What is this world coming to?
This isn't the America I fell in love with.
Josh, I don't know. I don't get this reference, but you might. TC, Chunk 3 was turning into the Susan Lucci of Chunkies.
Susan Lucci was nominated for 14 consecutive Daytime Emmy Awards and didn't win until the last one where they were like, we should probably give it to her.
Okay, there you go. Thank you for explaining that to me. All right, we've done the chunk of volatility. Now we head to the Beth Mowins Memorial Chunk. What does that mean?
R.I.P. Beth.
Well, you look at a matchup and you say, that matchup's got Beth Mowins written all over it.
Yeah. I know
In
what
which
you're talking
chunk,
about.
Josh, is that most likely to happen the most? Is it chunk 1, chunk 2, or chunk 3?
Chunk 2.
Indeed. Quite easily.
A lot of gray.
I think this is as self-explanatory as it gets of an award. In this chunk, Nebraska plays Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana, and Ohio State. 3 of those games are classic Beth Mowins games. Obviously, Nebraska's not going to get any Beth Mowins this year because the Big Ten is no longer a partner with ABC ESPN. But if they were, Beth Mowins would be doing all of them, and it would be cloudy and gray and sad. And there would be nobody at any of the games. And Beth Mowins would be there welcoming you from watching whatever's on ESPN2 before 11 o'clock. Not College Game Day. I don't know what happens on ESPN2 before 11 o'clock. But you flip over from College Game Day, and you have to go one channel up to or down to 30 from 31, and there's Beth Mowins welcoming you into very cloudy and gray West Lafayette, Indiana, where it's Nebraska and Purdue. Beth Mowins is the voice of that.
What weirdo Big 12 games is she going to be at?
I don't know. I am not sure what Beth Mowins' schedule looks like this year, but that one was easy.
Welcome to Iowa State, Kansas State.
Yeah, it's cloudy.
No, they wouldn't give her Farmageddon.
No, they would not. That game's huge. Beth Mowins Memorial Chunk belongs to chunk number 2. Now, these are the big ones. Oh, by the way, we'll check the Twitter one more time here. Jack John writes in.
Hi, Jack John.
Happer advocating going to a pumpkin patch during a Husker game. We don't miss a single play in this state. I'm just saying it's possible.
People do.
I'm just saying it's possible. And that is the chunk in which you'd most likely go to the pumpkin patch during chunk 2. But that was a long time ago. That award has already been taken home and put on the shelf. That's right. By chunk 2.
We're not the Olympics. We don't take away chunkies.
No, we don't bother with that. The least likely 4-0 chunk. The least likely chunk to go 4-0.
Okay.
Josh, who wins?
Let's not draw this out. I feel it's pretty obvious. Chunk 2.
Yeah. You look and you say, wow, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana, but then Ohio State.
But Connor, what if Nebraska went into the shoe and Dylon?
It's the only chunk in which there's a guaranteed loss. I'm sorry. That's just the case.
26.5 is a big number.
Yeah. They're not going to go 4-0 in that chunk. They might go 3-1. That'd be great if they did. Beth Mowens would love to do 3 of those games. But
you think she pulled Nebraska's schedule and was just like, damn
it. This is so good.
I should have been there.
It's ripe for me. No, they're not going to go 4-0 in that chunk. Least likely 4-0 chunk is chunk number 2. Now, the most likely 4-0 chunk. The most likely 4-0 chunk.
Most likely.
Yes.
Connor
Just did the least likely. Now, the most likely. Josh, this one's pretty obvious, too.
And the chunky goes to chunk 1.
UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, and Illinois. All those games are at home. All those games are very winnable.
Winnable games.
Winnable games. Yeah. I mean, Nebraska has a good chance to go 3-1 in the other chunk. And then in the third chunk, all the games are toss-ups. So
can Nebraska win 4 coin flips in a row?
Yeah. Unlikely. Doesn't usually happen.
Right.
So in those first 4, you really have 1 or 2 toss-ups, 1 or 1.5 toss-ups. So, yeah, that's your most likely 4-0 chunk. And our final award of the night. The MVP. The most important chunk, a.k.a. the chunk of destiny.
Ooh.
The chunk of destiny this year. It's won a similar award tonight. And once again, I think it's pretty obvious. Josh, who wins our most prestigious award?
We don't want a La La Land moonlight situation here, so I want to make sure we get this right. And the chunky goes to chunk 3.
Pretty obvious, Josh. UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Chunk
Anything
3
could happen.
Anything could happen because we don't know what's going to happen to those teams. We don't know what's going to happen to Nebraska before it. They are the most evenly matched in terms of talent as far as a stretch is concerned. Chunk 3, I would say, is also the most likely sub-500 chunk. We didn't give out that award tonight, but it's very possible that Nebraska ends up 1-3 in those 4 games. I think some people are predicting that.
Very similar ending to last year.
I would say that it's very unlikely that Nebraska ends up sub 500 in any other chunk this year. So, it's obvious. It's the most important thing that they're going to do this year, and they should be expected to. I mean, in November, you got to win 2 of those games, right? So I think the right math equation here. We're going a little long. Sorry, I know they're playing us out. There's like the math equation here for a successful season is probably looks a little bit like this in chunk form. 3 wins, 2 wins.
That's 8.
That's 8, Josh. That's 8. 3, 3, and 2. Now, I could see a world where they're 4 wins, 3 wins, and 2 wins, or 4 wins, 3 wins, and 1 win, right? But like, you're trying to get to 6 before Ohio State and then find your way to 2 or 3 more. And then you're going to be exactly where you thought you'd be at the start of the year, which is obviously right now. That's why we do the Chunkies, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we do it. Goon writes in, people getting triggered over Chunkies. Wow. I don't see anybody triggered actually at the moment. But
I would hope not.
It's a very happy night. It's a celebration of what we do.
This is us at our best. Take it or leave it.
Yikes. Back with MLB reaction over reaction next on 1627.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Those stingers are so weird.
They're so quirky.
I wear ticklish underpants.
Who would write that?
Anyway, welcome back.
They made them for us. We're using them.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah.
I like the idea. Coming up, we'll talk to Jacob Bigelow in a little while. We will also update you on a potential travel situation that we have brewing for week 0. But first, MLB reaction over reaction. This will be good. I'm excited to talk about the topics that the writers have cooked up for us today.
You were away. We didn't do this while you were away. The writers found that as an opportunity to negotiate themselves a 3-week vacation. Austin, not a baseball guy. John Schreiner's a White Sox fan, so we didn't talk baseball. So show's been really devoid of baseball content the last 3 weeks.
Well, good. Because we're about to fill you right back up with baseball. What?
I was just reading a tweet from Jeremiah.
Yeah, I saw the pie beats cake tweet.
Yeah. You see, that's why I love Josh, a man of the people. Today hasn't been my cup of tea. I've tried to tune in a few times. My man says, hey, this is the best we have. Take it or leave it. Very self-aware, and you guys rock.
Yeah. I mean, we got what we got, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is us.
Yeah. I'm sorry, or you're welcome. I'm not sure. All right, writers, what do you got for us today?
Take number 1. The AL Central race will be the most fun playoff race in the final 6 weeks.
Okay, so let's evaluate here. The AL Central has a definitive 3-team race currently led. What?
Does anyone else have a 3?
No, but there's the wild card stuff that's out there. Obviously, the AL East is going to be really good. The AL West could definitely still get interesting as well. And then the NL West they have 3 that are sitting.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So
I just don't believe it.
Yeah, that one's a little tougher to believe. These 3 are kind of right in there with the Guardians, the Twins, and the Royals. So here's what to watch, I guess, in that division. After the Royals finish up with the Angels on Wednesday, after they theoretically sweep them, they'll get 3 with Philly, who's one of the World Series contenders. 4 in 3 days with Cleveland.
That's right. A little doubleheader action.
4 with Houston, who's a playoff team.
Oof.
3 more with Cleveland, and then 3 with Minnesota. That stretch takes us to September 8th. We're going to know a lot more about the Royals on September 8th.
That is a brutal 3 weeks.
It is. The Royals, I mean, out of contenders, I actually think this is true. They have the toughest remaining schedule in baseball. So they'll have to prove it over the final 6 weeks of the season. We'll know a lot more about Kansas City at the end of these couple weeks. Cleveland has the 7 with Kansas City. They have 4 with Minnesota in mid-September. These 3 teams, only the Twins, the Royals, and the Guardians, only play the White Sox a combined 3 times down the stretch.
Oh.
So the White Sox are not going to factor into this really at all. Also,
got a lot of dreadful White Sox Tigers games coming up.
You do. Also, you have the added fun of the White Sox being the worst team ever, potentially.
Yeah, people will be monitoring that for sure.
And that team walked Juan Soto to get to Aaron Judge last week. That was crazy.
The White Sox have Mets, Orioles, Red Sox, Guards, A's, Angels, Padres, Angels, Tigers left on the. They're going to set whatever record
it's going to be
they
awesome.
need to set.
It's the great part about it is it's not bad luck. Like they actually suck so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great.
It's not somebody got injured.
They actually might be worse than what their record is.
Yes.
Which is awesome. I think the AL Central is going to be the most fun down the stretch, and we're going to find out a lot in the next couple weeks here. Next.
The Pittsburgh Pirates should shut down Paul Skeens.
Ooh.
Boy, this is a debate, isn't it?
It is.
Oh God, they're in last. Wow.
Yeah, they're dead.
I knew they were no longer a factor. Yeah.
So here are the factors in this decision. He has pitched a lot of innings over a short period of time. He's already pitched over 125 innings between AAA and the major leagues this year. The Pirates are out of the race. That's obviously a contributing factor. But there's also another thing. It's going to be reverse service time manipulation. All right, so there was a new thing that was put into the CBA 2 years ago when they redid it. If you finish first or second in Rookie of the Year voting, you automatically accrue a full year of service time.
Oh.
That is something that they put in there to prevent teams from manipulating service time. Right? At the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Call if they finish the Rookie of the Year voting. So even though Paul Skeens will fall short of the 172 days that are required to accrue a full year of service time this year, his clock could move forward if he finishes first or second Rookie of the Year voting, which he almost assuredly will if they don't shut him down right now. And that would cost the Pirates an entire year of control with him on the back end before he eventually hits free agency, which, if you ask me, is pretty consequential.
Yes.
So the Pirates have a lot of reasons to shut him down right now. I don't love it, but if I'm them, I probably do it. Now, he might finish first or second in Rookie of the Year anyway. There's also that.
So,
but at least he's not accruing major innings. It's a very intriguing.
His next 2 starts are at home. Do that. And then I don't know if you can stretch out, manipulate the rotation so he goes every like 6 days instead of every 5 days. And then like not grind him to a halt. Yeah, taper him off. So that way it's not like, no, we didn't shut him down.
But he's still going to finish first or second Rookie of the Year, and then he's going to get that service time thing.
Now, just kind of going every 5 days on the schedule, they end the season at Yankee Stadium.
Ugh.
Paul Skeens at Yankee Stadium is very tempting.
That's a good television product, Josh.
Boy, it sure is.
I think this is less an innings thing and more of a service time thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if there's any way around it at this point. It'll be very interesting to see how the Pirates handle it.
My gut reaction is no, don't do that. But also,
I certainly don't want them to. I want to watch the best players play.
Seems a lot smarter to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. Next.
There will not be one single 100-win team in baseball this year.
Josh, there is not one single team who is pacing for it right now.
Okay.
You need to win 61.7% of your games to get to 100.
Hello.
Nobody has that as their winning percentage at this moment.
Okay.
I was reading a story on Fangraphs this morning.
Nobody's even really close.
Since 2015, we've had 22 100-plus win teams. That's an average of almost 3 a year. From 2007 to 2014, we only had 3 teams total that won 100-plus games. This would be a bit of an oddity considering how it's gone lately, and I think it is a little bit of a reflection on how the playoffs are set up and the CBA and service time and all that stuff. We've seen this real flattening of baseball where the top is not that far from the bottom.
300-win teams last year.
Yeah, 3 last year. And there was only 3 total from 07 to 14.
Okay.
So this has changed a little bit. We're used to having 100-win teams. I don't think we're going to have a single one this year.
Sure doesn't seem like it.
And we have like 8 to 10 to 12 playoff teams who are going to go to those playoffs, and they're going to say, we got a chance to win the damn thing.
Just get in it.
Which is pretty intriguing. And I think that's definitely what baseball wanted.
Right.
Next.
MLB should require starting pitchers to throw 6 innings every start.
So there are a couple caveats. I saw the baseball has kind of floated this. The pitcher could come out if he throws 100 pitches before 6 innings, or if he gives up 4 or more earned runs.
Oh, okay.
Or, of course, if he gets hurt. But this is an idea that's being floated right now.
I didn't know the caveats, so the caveats make it a little better.
As much as I love the spirit of the idea,
right.
what they're going for is to make the starting pitcher valuable again.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely the dumbest bleep I've ever heard. No, you shouldn't require a pitcher to throw 100 pitches. No, you shouldn't require a pitcher to throw 6 innings.
What if the
I love the spirit of it.
Yes.
But no, like you can't actually do that.
What if the NFL said, "Hey, defenses are playing better, scoring's down.
Yeah.
You have to throw the ball 40 times
that would be
every
stupid.
game."
That would be so stupid.
Like, just
no,
the game plays out the way the game plays out.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I love the spirit of what that is trying to do, but it is very, very dumb.
I don't need to see your work on the, hey, we're trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Because it is a bit of a problem.
They're doing things. It's a problem. But this is not the solution. And finally, the writers would like to share a baseball oddity before we get out.
Oh, great.
This comes in lieu of Baseball Savant Corner. Something that has literally never happened in baseball history could happen next Monday. A player could play for both teams in the same game.
Connor, how's that possible?
The Red Sox and the Blue Jays will be resuming their June 26th game, a game that Danny Jansen started for the Blue Jays. He has since been traded to the Red Sox. Jansen was actually at the plate for Toronto when the game was stopped. So Toronto, he was at the, so Boston will have to pinch hit for him right away. They'll have to pinch hit for the person who's on the other team. And so that might be a fun baseball oddity. Also, in learning this, I've also learned that Juan Soto actually debuted before his debut. Did you know this?
I knew the first thing. I did not know this thing. What is this thing?
So Juan Soto debuted in real life on May 20th, 2018. But he later played in a suspended game from May 15th of that same year.
Oh.
And he hit a home run. So Juan Soto hit a home run before his major league debut. That's how good he is.
That's how good he is. I would be telling everybody that stat if I was Juan Soto.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
All those kids on the little league bus.
I'm so good. I hit a home run before I even debuted.
You kids might be good, but you'll never hit a home run before your MLB debut.
Pretty good. Shout out to Jason Stark on those. He's always good for the baseball oddities. All right.
Flexing on those kids.
We'll be back. We'll tell you about some travel issues and a couple more things before we get to Bigelow. Next on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone and Liberty First Credit Union Arena present Ralston Days.
Hell yeah.
Brought to you by Liberty First Credit Union and all of our stations here at NRG Media Omaha.
There's so many of them.
August 30th to September 2nd, Liberty First Credit Union Arena parking lot, free admission, carnival rides, music, and food trucks. And all of us. Some of us from all of our stations, I should say. From whether it's 1620 The Zone, or Sweet 98, 1019 The Keg, or Coil, La Nueva.
1180 The Zone.
1180 The Zone. People work there, Josh.
That's right.
Definitely.
Jim Rome comes in every day and does a show on Twitter.
The Royals are sometimes on there. Is young Jake coming?
I think he is contractually obligated to, yes.
Well, the Royals are sometime on The Zone, too. We could do it that way. Anyway, Ralston Days coming up here next weekend. All right. Oh, yes, Delaware State. So Delaware State has the great honor of playing in week 0 this year. They'll make a trip to Hawaii.
The Hornets.
What a nice trip. Yes, very cool colors and mascot. The whole thing.
They were the team that I played with in Dynasty.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
On college football.
Good colors, good unis.
The vid game.
That whole thing. Delaware State, so they were scheduled to make their 10.5-hour flight out to Honolulu today, cross country and then cross ocean. They have missed the flight.
What's that now?
They missed the flight. You ever missed a flight, Josh?
I haven't, actually.
I haven't either, and I will never. Much like I will never lose my wallet, I will never miss a flight.
Still haven't.
That would be ridiculous. How do you miss a flight?
Well, they had bus issues getting to the plane. They're flying out of JFK for some reason.
Well, they're not going to fly out of Delaware.
Sure.
Thanks, Biden.
And they're probably not flying a big fancy charter jet.
So they're definitely flying with all of the people from New York City who are going to Hawaii. Yes, they're flying commercially, almost certainly.
Yeah,
and so the plane goes without them. Now, maybe you could argue. I know that Delaware State probably has a limited athletic budget, but maybe you could argue for this long plane trip and this long trip in general, it might be time to splurge on the charter.
HBCUs are hurting.
Yeah, it's tough. But they have indeed missed their flight out of JFK to Honolulu because of a bus snafu. Quote from a Delaware State spokesperson, "We're working on a plan." Now, maybe in this case, it's good that they're flying out of JFK because I would imagine that they go to Honolulu more than, once every week or whatever it might be. Right. So, they'll probably pick up another flight, but they're going to have some difficulty probably adjusting to the time and that entire thing. I've heard this story way too many times to ever think that it's a good idea to go play a game at Hawaii anymore.
Oh, but the team can get a trip to Hawaii.
It always seems so hard.
Yes.
Remember, we had the Northern Iowa guy on, right? They're playing at Hawaii this year.
Right.
They must be playing in week 1. Right after Delaware State. This is a good lesson for our people out in Cedar Rapids. Yeah. That's the town that they're in.
Northern Iowa plays them on the 21st.
No, they don't. That's tomorrow. The 21st of September.
September, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, week 3.
Yes.
Week 4. That'd be week 4.
Yeah, fourth game.
So it's a good lesson for them. It just feels like it might be a little bit difficult to get out to Hawaii. I think it's, I really like the idea of traveling abroad to do stuff. But going to Hawaii seems like a bit of a pain in the butt to me.
It's very far away.
It feels like going to Hawaii maybe is more of a pain in the butt than it is actually good. I don't know, for people who have been to Hawaii and have had like not for the Creighton basketball team who went to Maui a couple years ago and had the whole thing chartered and had all these things like whatever like that's all good. But like for if you just went on a family vacation to Hawaii, let me ask you this: was it worth it? It doesn't really seem worth it.
Seems like a lot.
It does. I just don't want to go. I'd rather go to Paris or something. I don't know. If it takes me the same amount of time, which I'm not sure that it does for like, what's a flight? How much of a day is it going to take you to get from here to Honolulu from NRG Studios at 50th and Capitol? Like if I got on a plane right now, like I would have to go to Denver or San Francisco or something and then go to Hawaii. That's an entire day of travel. It's the same thing to get to, London.
It appears
Italy. I'd love to go to Italy.
11 or 12 hours.
Yeah. I'd rather just go to Italy, eat some sweet pizza and other things, and then come home.
Yeah,
I heard you didn't get full off the pizza.
Right, I have heard that as well.
Yeah, it's actually made with like good ingredients and stuff.
It is about roughly the same amount of time to get to
Take
Paris.
me to Italy.
To Paris.
Take me to Italy. That's what I'm here for. Don't take me to Hawaii.
I do feel it's important to tell you that Hawaii is a 38.5 point favorite this Saturday.
Yeah, Delaware State not really good at anything.
Right.
One of the worst teams in Division I at everything.
That's why it was such an honor to take them to a natty in NCAA college
I bet
football.
it was. Doc writes in.
What's up, Doc?
It is definitely a pain in the butt getting to Hawaii. Almost impossible to go the whole way without having a flight altered or canceled. Thank you, Doc. I agree. That's what it seems like anyway. Also, breaking news. We got single-digit numbers.
The 10.
Oh, boy. More on this we'll break all this down with Jacob Bigelow when we return on 1620 The Zone.
heating up.
That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you.
Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire.
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka!
Oh, boom shakalaka indeed. We got huge news just dropped right into our lap. Single digit numbers day and Chunkies day is the same day. Handshake meme. It's almost too much to handle. I can't do this. So that's where we bring in Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated. Stretch Big Pod joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Jacob, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, Hap. Look at us. We're like Peaches and Herb. We're reunited back together after a couple weeks. That's a really old reference to an old song, but I'm happy to be back with you, man.
What is that? Wait, what is that? What, Josh, do you know what he's talking about?
Peaches? Yeah, reunited, and it feels so good.
No, Peaches and Herb?
Peaches and Herb.
Peaches and Herb?
Yeah.
Is that the band?
It was a musical group, right?
Oh. Jacob, is that the band?
Vocal duo.
That is the artist, yes. The artist performed the song, yes.
They also did Shake Your Groove thing, right? Is that right?
Okay. I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know the songs. I just don't know Peaches or Herb. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's okay.
I came in too hot right away.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Stay hot. Stay hot.
Just real quick. Did you know that Peaches is no longer a part of the group?
But it's just Herb?
It's still called Peaches and Herb. Herb being Herb fame. Peaches has been replaced by Wanda Makel, something to that effect. Francine Peaches Hurd is no longer in the group.
Wow. No, you really do learn something new every day.
That's right.
Breaking news.
Right,
we're breaking lots of things. Okay, now we're going to do the single digit numbers thing. So speaking of staying hot, you did everybody a great service, which was naming all the people who got single digit numbers on Twitter a minute ago. Thank you for that service. I don't know how you did it, but thank you.
Now, contrary to popular belief, I do know the Nebraska football team. I do know them. I am able to discuss football. Yeah, I just wanted to help the people out just in case they couldn't recognize some folks in there. So I'm just here. I'm here for the people, man of the people. Me before me guy.
I think I would have gotten like first run through. I did it out loud with Josh. Like I think I got what is there 10 of them? I got like 7 out of 10. Like I was pretty like I knew Nash and Ty and Gifford and Butler and Bullock and Singleton and Hartzog. I know about Hartzog because he's the tiniest one. And the one that I was struggling with was Jamal Banks, who is the only offensive guy who got a single digit number. And then Tommy Hill too. I guess I never knew what Tommy Hill looked like.
Yeah, no, I mean we've heard Matt Rule wax poetic about Tommy Hill, but yeah, I don't think we've had him in front of. I don't think we've heard from him or from Jamal Banks, but I mean, it definitely says a lot about Banks to be a new addition, surrounded by a bunch of returning guys, getting voted, to have a single digit.
Yeah, it's so that's a pretty interesting group. Any further thoughts on being just one guy from the offense? Like that's it probably says more about your defense than it does your offense, just because I think that's a pretty highly competitive, thing with that they vote on. So it makes sense that all those old guys in the defense get single digit numbers, but just one guy in the offense, it looks a little uneven.
Yeah, I mean it's a bunch of old heads, right? Like in a program like Matt Rule wants, his Nebraska football to be like the older guys. They're like, they're the role models. They're what he wants, everyone to go model themselves after. And I think the guys, especially those guys returning on the defense, those are the guys we've heard Rule speak the highest about. Not just last year, but this spring and summer. So not really many surprises in there. But I mean, if I had to pick somebody from the offensive side, it would probably be the guy who's got the most, power football experience under his belt, and a guy who I think could be a pretty big difference maker. He just hasn't been here that long compared to everybody else.
Yeah. Jacob Bigelow is with us from Huskers Illustrated and the Stretch Big podcast. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Stretch Big podcast, okay, so last we talked about this was a couple weeks ago before I left, and we were kind of like previewing what you're going to be doing. Now you have executed. some of these podcasts. What are some of your favorite moments for the last like couple weeks of your little summer series here?
Well, I've put out 3 podcasts in the last couple of weeks. Just dropped one with Colorado State associate head coach and former NCAA tournament hero Ali Farouk-Manesh yesterday. I could talk to that dude for hours about just about anything, life, basketball. One of the most genuine dudes I know. He has some great stories about 2 stories I liked from Ali. One was Nico Medved, basically in the first staff meeting Ali was ever a part of at Drake, saying, we need to find a team we can lose with first. And the entire room being shocked, like, what is he talking about? Like, we're here to win, right? Like, what do you, and just the overarching theme of it coming down to, like, you need good people in your program. And then, talked with Michael Lewis, head coach at Ball State. He had some great, couple good Bob Knight stories. Played for Bob Knight at Indiana, was their all-time assist leader when he left campus. Now he's second on the list, but, those are 2 really fun conversations. I think anyone, if you're just looking for good, just basketball talk, just to scratch the itch, some good conversation.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll look forward to listening to those. They are out now wherever you get your podcasts. The Stretch Big podcast with Jacob Bigelow. Okay. I'm going to we might have a basketball question in here, but I will continue to ask you about football. All right, have you, over the last several weeks, where have you gone on the Kool-Aid meter for Nebraska football? Like you are the most sane probably Chiefs fan that that is like out there. So I wonder how you're approaching a little bit of a hype monster attack here with Nebraska football over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't gone full like Kool-Aid hype monster quite yet. I've still got plenty of questions. I think there's a lot to like. There really is. And obviously, the year 2 Matt Rule thing. It kind of sounds all too familiar. Like, oh, year 2 jump. That'll happen, right? But there's a lot to like, and it's just there's some questions for me in terms of was how well the defense played last year. Was that fluky? Did guys overachieve? Did they play better? What does a year of tape on the 3-3-5 and a lot of returning personnel mean? When you're going to go up against Nebraska on defense, is it a foregone conclusion that they'll be that great again? And then on the offensive side of the ball, you obviously I've said this multiple times all summer, but the bar for the offense isn't just on the ground; it's 6 feet underground. There's cobwebs on it. To be better than it was last year, it will not take a whole lot. But
no.
What's the ceiling, right? Like how good can it be? Obviously, it can be. They're not going to be running play option pass with Dylan Raiola this year like they were multiple times last season. But it's just a question of there are guys on the offense who their health could be a concern. We've already seen a key piece on the offensive line go down. There's always the injury question. There's still a lot more uncertainty to me than there is like certain things that I think we can etch in stone and call a guarantee.
Interesting thought on the defense. I don't think there was much about what they did last year that would lead me to believe they can't repeat that and build off of it this year. I'm with you on the thought process, which is I just kind of want to see it again. But I do feel like they've made that full transition to a program who is really defense first and embraces that piece of it.
Yeah, they've said all the right things, right? They've got some really good football coaches on that side of the ball. We've got to play the song and dance of will he, won't he with Tony White already, and we all can agree that they've got a pretty good group of guys coaching on the defensive side. So that's just kind of how I am with all the teams that I either cover or follow or root for. Like I'm just kind of like show me first. That's kind of just how I've always been.
Could you give us a I don't know if this was covered or how extensively it was covered while I was gone, but could you give us a scouting report on Nick Grimm playing softball?
Well, that's it was not covered too extensively, actually. 'Cause now it's in a weird spot. We're playing on Tuesday nights, and I'm on here on Tuesdays, so it's like previews, kind of. But I will give Nick credit. He made contact in all of his at bats. He made contact. The ball went forward. I will give him credit with that. Obviously, there's nowhere to go but up when you've never participated in in a bat and ball sport before. And I'm just happy that I'm no longer the biggest goober on the roster.
Wow!
Now that is no longer my title. But happy to have Nick along for the ride. We've got quite the eclectic group of personalities, but not in a bad way. We still had fun last week, even though we lost.
I was going to say, it's a giant group of. I mean, you guys have a lot of goobers. There's a lot of goobers. So you're saying that you were the goober, and now Nick is the bigger goober. Like he wins out of all of the goobers.
I mean, you are right. There is quite a laundry list of goobers. And I don't know how we would, tier list or power rank the goobers, what the goober metrics would be for this group. But that's just that's kind of that. I mean that not in a negative way. I mean, every team needs a goober. I mean, that's every locker room. There's a mixture of old heads and goobers, right? Like that's you got to have the personality. And hopefully it all can come together.
Old heads and goobers. Maybe you guys should change your name from the Jack Mitchell softball experience to Old Heads and Goobers, because I really like it.
It's not a bad idea. That's not bad.
Yeah, it would be a problem for your jersey sales, but it would be fun to watch. That's for sure. Jacob, thanks as always for joining today. Appreciate you waiting around for a couple extra minutes for us today, and we'll talk to you soon. Looking forward to it.
Oh, sounds good, Hap. Good to be back with you. Have a good rest of the show. Good rest of the week, fellas.
That is Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated. I would encourage people to check out those podcasts as well. Jacob's got really good relationships in the basketball world, and Farouk Manesh truly is a great dude. So those will, unless you're a Kansas fan, of course, like Mike is.
Yeah.
On the YouTube, he's like, "This is horrible. I will never listen to this in a million years." If you fall into that category, first of all, shame on you.
Whoa.
Kansas basketball fan? It's so old and tired.
Kansas
basketball fan who lives in Nebraska. All right.
It's not for me, but like I get the existence of that type of person.
You became a Kansas basketball fan in the absence of Nebraska being any good.
Sure.
And now you have good teams around you. Nebraska is fine. They don't have to deal with Kansas very much. And Creighton is very good. Just be a Creighton fan. Ditch Kansas. And on December 4th of this year, you'll have to choose allegiances.
Oh, no.
People forget. Kansas and Creighton right here in our backyard at a very good venue, as Josh always likes to say.
I love venues.
A good concert venue.
Big venue head.
The definition of a goober.
Oh. Are we nitpicking goober?
I was just curious at how a dictionary would define it. First definition, a peanut. He was snacking on a sack of goobers. I didn't know that.
I like that.
Number two, a foolish person. Now, this is more of the context we're saying goober in. Throughout my dating career, I was set up with some goobers. A goober is like you really know it when you see it.
Yeah.
There's really no other. I can't really describe it to you. You're just like, yeah, that guy's a bit of a goober.
Poll question up at Happer Show. Should Jack Mitchell softball experience change their name to Old Heads and Goobers?
Old Heads and Goobers. There's also a dated definition according to the Oxford Languages Dictionary.
Isn't it a candy too?
A person from the southeastern United States, especially Georgia or Arkansas.
Whoa. Chocolate covered peanuts. Yeah, goobers.
Chocolate covered peanuts. Now, in this, for what I'm reading, it's just a peanut. A goober is a peanut.
Maybe that's where the name came from.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were all straight on that. Thanks, Jacob. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Old man Doug checks in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Doug.
He flexing on him. Flex on him a little bit, old man Doug. He says, well, first of all, the subject line is Old Man Doug's Great Takes.
Hard to be humble.
Yeah. Number 1, been to Ireland/Scotland 3 times.
3 times.
Hawaii twice.
Whoa.
They are both equally long plane rides. Number 2, Old Heads and Goobers sounds like a country song. And number 3, please repeat the single-digit numbers. Also, a second email from Old Man Doug.
Whoa.
Goobers equals nerds.
I feel like Old Man Doug called plenty of people goober in high school.
Oh, no. You don't really call people goobers to their faces. You're not like, you're a goober. You're just like, that guy's kind of a goober.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
We got some goobers in this office.
That's true.
I wouldn't be like, hey, Dan, you're a goober. I just called Dan a goober like right now. Like, Dan's kind of a goober. What?
Well, I just think that this incredibly funny interaction. And at the same time, I read a comment from Mike on the YouTube page. Doug, we know you're rich. You own a bank, dude.
Doug
is flexing on him.
All right, so to answer his third point, Nash Hutmaker, Jamari Butler, Isaac Gifford, Marcus Buford, Jamal Banks, John Bullock, Tommy Hill, Malcolm Hartzog, Deshaun Singleton, and Ty Robinson.
Well, I mean, Singleton, it's right there. Singleton, single digit.
So, Nash, Gifford, Bullock, Singleton, and Robinson, 5 of them, each had them last year. And there are 5 new ones.
Now, do we think that's good or bad?
Well, I'd have to remember
that 5 repeated, or like no one came up and took a single digit from those 5. I don't know.
I don't know.
What are we doing here?
I mean, it's a vote, right? Like if you're already a single digit number guy, the chances are you're just going to get the vote again.
I guess if you're a team
Right.
captain, you're
like, we're not going to take it away from him.
You're going to be a team captain for the rest of your tenure.
Yeah, like
right?
I think it'd be a bigger problem if one of those lost it and was still on the team. Like
Did anyone lose?
If Ty Robinson went back to 99, or something like that. Well, okay, hold on. Single digit numbers, Nebraska 2023.
Andy says Jeff Sims had a single digit.
He indeed did. He indeed did. Nick. Okay, so Hutmaker was 0. Nick Henrich was 3. John Bullock was 5. He's got it again. Why wouldn't this article tell me who some of the other guys are?
Nah.
Thank you.
Focus on a couple.
Thank you, Corn Huskers Wire. All right, here we go. Nash, Billy Kemp. Billy, remember Billy? Remember little tiny baby Billy?
I do.
Gifford, Henrich, Reimer. So Henrich and Reimer graduated. Kemp graduated. Gone. Bullock returns. Newsom, gone. Sims, see ya. He would have lost it if he would have came back, by the way. What if Jeff Sims was still here?
It'd be so awkward.
It'd be so awkward. And then Singleton and Robinson. So no, everybody, the 5 new ones were all vacated by people who left.
Okay. I mean, we're going to be doing this for the next 20 years. I want to know what to look for.
Now, is it possible that the number that Jeff Sims left is cursed?
Oh, wow. I hadn't even thought of that. That's a good point.
You inherit the ghost of Jeff Sims.
What if you can't hold on to the ball?
Fortunately, it's Malcolm Hartzog who plays defense.
Okay.
So that's good.
That's why he doesn't play receiver.
So I don't know. It's maybe something to consider, something to think about. Nebraska's had a lot of great number 7s in their past, but now Number 7 is a curse. If you get number 7, you're cursed. What's the status of Malcolm Hartzog and Amigos? Are they handshake memed?
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm wearing number 7. You see the big 7? I'd like my burrito now.
Also, an interesting question that came out of this. Now that we have numbers finalized now, with the exception of one very interesting question, if you guys care about this at all, which some do, I know.
I do.
Malachi Coleman last year wore number 15.
That's right.
I believe Dylan Raiola has claimed that number.
Absolutely.
So Malachi is going to have to figure something else out. Neither of them have received single-digit numbers. Who wins the number 15 war? And are we in a potential standoff between Malachi and Dylan?
What's a war if it's a blowout? Like it's not close.
Well, what's the battle? What's the game? Maybe Malachi's really good at checkers, and they have to play for checkers. They have to play checkers.
I'm Dylan Raiola, the quarterback at Nebraska. I'll be taking that number.
What if it's not about that, Josh? What if it's about, okay, we have 2 number 15s. You guys both won it. Play checkers. Play a game of backyard baseball. Something like that.
I feel it's probably just a McDonald's bag full of cash handed from one individual to the other.
What if Dylan?
That's how it's done in the pros.
Dylan's got some donuts.
Yeah. Here.
He's already paid off his whole offensive line to block for him.
Here, have a panini check.
Okay. So maybe there's that. Or maybe they both really want it and they won't give it up and you have to choose. And then somebody gets their feelings hurt. What if Dylan has to change numbers? What if Dylan loses the battle for number 15? I feel
like the branding's pretty solid there already.
Yeah, he's kind of got that Mahomes thing going on. He really carved that out for himself.
Quick.
Usually they just don't give it to him. You know, they're like, hey, 15's kind of occupado, man. Like, you got to find something else. Not in this case. Kind of weird.
Kenneth says you're overthinking it. Best 2 out of 3 on NCAA 25.
You think checkers was overthinking it?
Apparently.
How about rock, paper, scissors? Best 2 out of 3. Andy says, or buy him a Porsche like Otani did for Joe Kelly.
That's right.
That's right.
Forgot about that.
Now, this has been brought up a couple times as well. In the video game, which is definitely mimicking real life, there are 2 number 15s. They're just straight up there. They're just both there.
Really?
Because in the video game, rules don't apply. You can just have whatever you want.
And the damn computer cheats all the time. Oh, I was up 34 points in the 4th quarter, and the computer came back.
Somebody's going to have to get a real number, a different number, and it's not going to be Dylan.
Nope.
Alex and Lincoln says Frost, McCaffrey, Sims, great number 7s in Nebraska history. It might be a cursed number. It might be a cursed number. People think about Eric Crouch, and they're like, that was pretty good. There's actually more evidence to suggest that number 7 sucks now.
I mean,
Frost was a good player, bad coach. McCaffrey, probably a pretty good player, now in the NFL, didn't work out for him here. Sims, straight up bad.
Crouch's NFL dreams were dashed. Maybe the number's cursed.
Is there a case to be made that the number is cursed?
Charles says, didn't Jordan Adams wear number 7?
Oh God.
There a way to look
Yeah,
this up?
I guess so. Yeah, check out like the 5 roster, somewhere around there. Aaron Sorensen has opined about this.
Okay. Hi, Aaron.
People were asking, Aaron, I'd assume the number is ultimately Malachi's unless he gives it up. I'll be curious to see what Raiola maybe offers in exchange for the number, or if Dylan just picks something else.
He's not picking something else, everybody.
But here's an idea. If we talk about money, Malachi has a foundation that Dylan could donate to.
There you go.
Or Malachi could keep the money himself. But yeah, there might be some money exchanging hands here. Yeah, when they take the field in 11 days here.
That's right.
Dylan Raiola is going to be number 15. Malachi
Yes.
Coleman's going to be something else.
Yes.
Sorry. Don't know what else to say. Kurt Dukes, also number 7. We have to do an investigative report tomorrow, Josh.
I don't know how, but I'm sure you know how to find archives of jersey number.
I'll go find all the number 7s for sure. All right, we'll take a break. Pull questions, tell you what to watch on the other side on 1620 The Zone. But first, you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, which is America's #1 sports book. But now we have something extra, something a little different. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. At FanDuel.com/Happer, download America's #1 sportsbook and get in on the sweet offer. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Pull questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Do you love to cooperate? I do. I'm a great cooperator.
That's right. You said it, so.
55% say no.
Oh, really?
As evidenced by their no votes. Do you love a late night coffee? I've started to dabble into these waters recently, and I'm a little worried as to where it might take me. But yes, I do.
Which is interesting because you're not like a daytime coffee drinker, really.
Not like I don't tell everybody about it anyway. Oh, yeah. I have one every morning, but I'm not gonna like talk about how much I need it. Otherwise, I'll die.
Don't talk to me until I have my coffee.
Don't talk to me until I have my morning coffee. 72% say no.
Okay.
Is getting to Hawaii a pain in the butt?
Absolutely.
Seems like it. 83% say yes.
Wow, I didn't think it'd be that high.
Did you know Peaches was no longer in the vocal duo Peaches and Herb?
I just learned this today.
No, I did not. 83% also did not. And finally, should the Jack Mitchell Weirdo softball team change their name to Old Heads and Goobers?
I would like to consider it maybe an alternate uniform day.
Good one. 74% say yes. Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
Tonight in Major League Baseball, Connor, this is it.
What?
Atlanta's last stand. They host the Phillies.
What a proclamation.
They host the Phillies for a 3-game set tonight, 6 o'clock. TBS, it is Zach Wheeler versus Ronaldo Lopez returning from the IL. Phillies lead the NL East by 7 games. The Braves and Phillies play each other 7 times over the next 2 weeks. We will find out what the Atlanta Braves are made of over the next
More than
2
likely,
weeks.
no ground will be gained and no ground will be lost.
That's kind of what I'm feeling. Twins and Padres, 8:40 tonight, MLB TV free game of the day. Mariners, Dodgers, 9 o'clock on MLB Network. Little League World Series going on in Williamsport, Pennsylvania versus Hawaii coming up in a matter of minutes on ESPN. It is Elimination Day in Williamsport. I want to add that, by the way.
Get them out of there.
Cuba and Mexico, 4 o'clock on ESPN, and follow that by Florida versus the boys from Staten Island. You rooting for Staten Island, Connor?
I sure as hell am.
There
Josh.
you go.
Thank you for asking.
The WNBA is back after a night off. The Dallas Wings are in New York to take on the Liberty, who have the best record in the league. 6 o'clock on NBA TV. Netflix drops another Untold on us tonight, I guess right now. The Murder of Air McNair, tracking the rise of legendary NFL quarterback Steve McNair and the perplexing details surrounding a shocking murder in 2009 that we just really don't talk about ever.
No, we do not.
An NFL quarterback was murdered.
Yeah. Very odd.
Yes. 7 o'clock ABC tonight. Much happier story on Celebrity Family Feud. The men from the WWE take on the women from the WWE, and WNBA superstars Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie battle it out for charity.
That's it?
That's it.
Got breaking news out of Rutgers.
Are they back?
No, they're not.
Oh.
Their best defensive player is done for the year.
Ooh. Matrix, not like this.
I need to take a break.
While you were gone, I know we got to get out of here. I know the 3 weeks you were gone, everyone got on the Rutgers train that you had been driving.
That's right.
So I don't know if you feel like it's too crowded and you'd like to get off or what.
If there's a stop coming up, I'm going to see what's out there because I don't like that. That's a bad vibe.
That is.
It's a bad vibe. All right, that's it for the show today. Thank you, Josh. If you missed anything, you can find it at 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.
Get your single game tickets for soccer and volleyball and season tickets for all sports now by calling 402-554-MAVS or by going to omavs.com/ticks.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really